yourself and we'll
How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar. Welcome to Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. I am not alone today. I have assembled a group of friends here. Holy moly. Yeah, this is like the fourth live stream I'm doing this week. Guess I'm making up for taking off on that Saturday. But immediately to my right is paperbacks. What's up, buddy?
Hey, how are you doing, Omar? There was a Chick-fil-A that opened today 3 minutes away from my house. So before the stream, I decided to get some waffle fries because I was hungry.
Did you get a milkshake?
They were out.
What? Wow.
I know, an opening day too.
The stream start like that, but thanks for sharing.
Dom, you should save it for my channel. I don't think Omar appreciates
that is the milkshake channel over there. That's
I promise you, Jess, I will get a milkshake next time I'm on your channel.
Awesome.
And speaking of the milkshake channel, who is that guy down there?
I'm the adorable Omnidog. I have a YouTube channel, Omnidog's Vault, and I'm also represented in Blue Sky, Instagram, and Discord, which Peter hops in and out of depending on how he's feeling. And I love that you got roped into that eight-person maniac chat. It was just supposed to be three people talking about a topic, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, Peter's in this chat. Oh, Beyond Comics is in this chat too. So
Also
it's
from New Zealand?
Peter in my Discord.
Is Beyond Comics in New Zealand?
Yes,
Yeah.
Beyond Comics is one of my fellow Kiwis. We've established a beachhead in Omnidog's Vault, and soon we're going to annex Omnidog's Vault. It's going to be, we refer to it as the third island of New Zealand.
All two of you. All
Yeah.
two.
No, there's also Batmantha.
I thought Batmanda was in Kentucky.
Batmantha. That's Batmanda. Yeah.
Oh my goodness! All these
You
Bat.
got to keep up with the continuity, Omar. You can't just drop in and pick up an issue here and there.
I have
If
already
you don't read every month, you start to lose track of the characters.
Comic continuity. Anything new to announce in this Solicits? Maybe, Ryan. I'm going to make you watch the whole thing, and I'm going to save it till the very end. I'm actually talking to Marvel today, so I'm sending all that information that we gathered from everybody that was like, hey, can you get this at it that Peter and I did? That was a really fun stream. I really like doing that. And it really helps to just have one place to have everybody.
Omar even texted me while I was away if I wanted anything added, and I had to send it to him via text. So I was like, he cares. Omar cares. So just putting that all out there.
That immediately went to the dump pile. Yes.
I apologize, Crisis. I stepped all over you. I was like I was introducing you.
Who's the guy you were talking about, Jess? Who's this guy?
Christian Crisis right here. He's an amazing guy.
Well, my name is Crisis with a K, and this week I had Popeyes for the first time, just to continue the fried chicken theme. It was really good. In New Zealand, KFC is like the national dish. Kiwis are obsessed with KFC. They're everywhere, even though it's an American
I'm from
franchise.
Kentucky.
Yeah, so they would love the taste of you, Omar. And so
I'm in.
we're
into
all
it.
over the place this afternoon. But yeah, so we got a Popeyes, and I never had Popeyes when I lived in the States. So I had my first Popeyes chicken this week. It was legit. It was real good. So also you can find me at CrushingCrisis.com, where I cover all of Marvel, DC, and Image's new releases every single week with context, because I'm reading all of them. And then you get to hear me scream about them on Sunday afternoons, Monday in New Zealand, on my Polish show on the Crushing Crisis channel.
Excellent. How come no Omnidog videos since last week? I'm keeping him busy. Is that what it is, Jess?
Yeah, I have been on your channel a couple times. It was birthday weekend in our household. My daughter's birthday was Monday. She came over Sunday and didn't leave till yesterday. So I spent when she wasn't working, I spent the whole time watching this Netflix series that is super good.
What's it called?
Dairy Girls, Derry from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in that, and so I spent a shorter answer. I spent all my time with my daughter and did not make any videos. Legit question. I need to get back on it. So thank you.
I think that's a wonderful way to spend a birthday weekend, like a birthday week almost.
Yeah.
Seems like is that a tradition? Like she comes up and sees you around her birthday?
Yeah, she's only 20 minutes away, so we usually meet her every Sunday, and her job's almost completely remote now, so she can just sit on the couch here and just do her job. So she just hung out for an extra couple days. That is rare that she stays the extra days. That was awesome,
dude. That's great. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys are so close.
Yeah, thanks. I know you're close with your daughters too.
Yeah, we go to toy conventions and we watch. Oh man! So at the age of 13, I promise I'm about to start sharing the but you got to be talking about my kids. So I haven't told you guys that she's a sophomore in high school and she is attending college next year. Like,
wow,
really scared. Like she's gonna be 16 and going to college, and I'm just that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know where she gets her. I definitely don't know where she gets her maturity level from. Maybe her mom, probably, and her brains, man. She's a smart kid. Both of them are really smart. So on her 13th birthday, I told her, I was like, cause she's old enough. She was asking me about this show called South Park. And I was like, I'm going to make you a deal. We can watch South Park, but here's the deal. You're not allowed to ask me any questions. That's the deal. And she's like, okay. And she's never asked me. And of course I picked the most random episodes that I remember. I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot about this ending. I forgot about this part. Woo! It's a good thing she's not asking me questions. And then this year she wanted to start watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is one of my wife and my favorite shows. And same rule. I'm like, you can watch it. You don't ask me any questions. I don't know about your mom, but she might be able to answer some stuff. But definitely don't look at me for answering me. So yeah, man, and I'm really proud of both of my kiddos. My youngest one got accepted into this algebra program, so she'll be in the 7th grade next year and going into the algebra program in the high school.
Wow,
so it's kind of weird, yeah. So all right, today we are going to be looking at the Marvel July solicitations, and big thank you to David Gabriel and everyone at Marvel for sending us this advance notice. This was where you come and look at the content, the covers, and the prices. So it's one step closer to getting to your hand. What we did on Monday was look at the book, the omnis that are going to be in the catalog. This is when it's officially solicited. So when people ask me, when can I pre-order it? It really depends on your store. A lot of stores don't like to pre-order books that are not officially solicited because that tends to bite them in the butt later on if you're having to put money down on a book that doesn't exist, that isn't officially solicited, because at any moment that can be canceled. So most stores, most places only let you pre-order books when it's officially solicited, unless you're looking at the book market like Amazon and Barnes & Noble and places like that. Okay. You guys ready?
Let's roll.
Yes.
All right. Looks like OmniDog sold all his collection for the new upcoming books. He's making room for all those books that are coming out later.
I'm dog sitting, as I said in the green room, I'm dog sitting for this nice couple that just moved in. And the dog's very sweet. We went on a walk, but she went upstairs to get on our bed. And that's where she is. I just want to make sure she doesn't come downstairs and feel abandoned. So that's why I'm parked in the kitchen.
That dog is already making herself at home. I love it.
She's right on the bed.
Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 2 is officially out of print. There's a few books that just went out of print because Peter and I are looking at the reprint poll for Omnis. Don't forget to vote for the Epic Collection reprint poll. That is open until Sunday. I would hate for anybody to miss out on voting for a book that they want. So please keep that in mind. It is open until what happened here? Okay. It is open until
just in the pen. Okay, I like it.
Until Sunday end of day, and then Jim is going to take that down and we can tally up the votes, and I'll announce the top 20 most wanted Marvel Epic reprints on Friday when I'll be in Chicago. Woo, this week it's gonna get nuts, people. It's gonna get nuts. And then
you're gonna be in Chicago this week? That's this weekend?
Following weekend, or not this weekend, but the next one. Yeah, I'll be there at C2E2. As a matter of fact, I need to make a post about that. From Lars, Amanda, and Oddfell and I, a little meet and greet. I was just looking at books that are out of print since you were asking, and it seems like right now the books that just recently went out of print are Uncanny X-Men Omnibus 3, Daredevil by Brian Michael Bendis Omni Volume 1, Punisher Max Volume 1, Uncanny X-Force. Those books just went out of print. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Solicits. The Return of Wolverine Omni. You have a cover here by the late John Cassaday. You've got the Nick Bradshaw cover and the, I almost said Pepe Silva. I got Always Sunny on my mind, but that is
RB, man. Come on, Omar. The X-Men guy.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, I was talking about Always Sunny. So collecting Wolverines 1 through 20, Hunt for Wolverine #1, Hunt for Wolverine Weapon Lost 1 through 4, Hunt for Wolverine The Adamantium Agenda 1 through 4, The Claws of a Killer 1 through 4, Mystery and Madripoor 1 through 4, Dead Ends, and Return of Wolverine 1 through 5, and Infinity Watch 1 through 5, which is one of Peter's favorites, and material for Marvel Legacy #1. Plus the Where is Wolverine subplot pages, 1,232 pages, $125. No Hot Claws cover.
There should have been one.
How could you pass up that marketing opportunity?
With Steve McNiven, right? He did all those variants were actually pretty cool. I hate that I'm a sucker for those stupid things. And Uncanny X-Men. I do believe this is one of Jess's favorite X-Men series.
So cover choice
by Brian Michael Bendis. This book will contain Uncanny X-Men 1 through 14, 15 Point Inhumans, 16 through 35, 600, Annual 1, All New X-Men 16 and 17, Annual 1, Wolverine and the X-Men 36 and 37, Battle of the Atom 1 and 2, and Adjectiveless X-Men 5 through 6. And that is the series that was kickstarted. It was the all-female team. I think it was Brian
Wood and Olivia Coipel.
Yes. Oh, it's got gorgeous artwork. 1,128 pages, $125. And you do have the entire Battle of the Atom crossover here. And you got Chris Bachalo mainly on artwork, but also Fraser Irving, Chris Anka. And I think you all probably remember this. Do you remember that that New Avengers cover? It was like a house hat cover that they did, and there was this weird character that was supposed to be like the prototype for Ronin. He had like a bulb head. Do you remember that cover that I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So that character shows up in this run. It's like, we're not going to waste that character design on a cover. We're going to create a character, and that character shows up in the Uncanny X-Men by Bendis run. It is not Ronin. Thank you so much, Bruce. As these have not been printed yet, can we expect the prices to change because of yesterday's announcement? Oh, Bruce. I don't know. Yeah, price content are always subject to change. I was just talking to my brothers how excited I was about the Switch 2. And then I saw the prices of the games. And then I saw the prices of the games that don't come with a cart. That is just a digital download. And I was like, this is like buying an omnibus and then like getting halfway through the Omni and saying, here's your digital code for the rest of the book. That hurts. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Are you gonna buy one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can complain about it. I'm like, yeah, my kids and I are all about Mario Kart. Absolutely, yeah. Woo,
Pre-order it.
I think they're
on
like
the 9th of Wednesday, or 9th of April. John.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
I think the games are like $80 for physical.
The games are $80, but you can get the Mario Kart bundle for
but that's a digital bundle.
It's a digital,
yeah. $80, man, and that's gonna set the precedence for everybody else. Sony and Xbox, they're all gonna.
I mean, like PlayStation did it, and the $70 when the PS5 came out. So,
we have X-Men by Al Ewing, Omni, and this is collecting Sword 1 through 11, X-Men Red 1 through 15, and 17 and 18, Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants 1 through 3, Resurrection of Magneto 1 through 4, Cable Reloaded, X-Men Before the Fall, Heralds of Apocalypse, and material from X-Men Red 16 and Marvel Voices X-Men. Why is it material from X-Men Red 16? Was there a backup story?
There was a backup. Go ahead, Peter. You can.
What was the backup?
I was going to say the same. Yeah, there was a backup that tied into the forward-looking stuff, and that doesn't really have a place there with the epilogue quality of X-Men Red. The most frequent question we've all heard about this since Omar announced it is, can I just read this on its own? Do I need to read a bunch of Hickman? I really don't think so. X of Swords introduces the idea of Arakko. The first Hellfire Gala from 2021 has planet-sized X-Men and introduces the idea of what the X-Men are doing on Mars. But Ewing tells a very complete story about X-Men in space. In fact, I would go so far as to say this is maybe the best story that's ever been told about X-Men in space. And it has a very distinct beginning and middle and end.
Wow. Thank you. $70 isn't the same as $80 for digital and $90 for physical. Not a chance I'm doing the Switch too. Oh, Nick, we're in this boat together, Nick. It's physical at home, man. It's crazy though. Like, prices may vary, but Omar's this love never dies. Yeah, John knows me all too well. Good, Arjun. It's good to see you. This is my #1 book of the year. Sorry, give me 1 second, Bruce. I saw a comment here from Cody asking about shoot. He was asking if here it is. Did Marvel ever offer a response to adding Last Annihilation tie-ins to this volume? There are no responses so far. I reached out to them. I'm going to be talking to them later today about the suggestions that you all had. Whatever they decide to do is completely up to them. The Switch 2 is worth it just because we can play GameCube games on it. Man, I love that this is turning into a Switch stream. Weren't expecting that. Jess got ready for all the comic book knowledge, and so did Peter. Little did they know we were going to.
I brought the milkshakes.
Higher time. Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, Friends and Enemies, Omni. This is collecting Star Wars, Dr. Aphra, 26 through 40, Sanasteros 1 through 5, and material from Revelations #1, 472 pages, $75. And next up is Marvel Team Up Omni Volume 1. Officially,
finally, one of the most demanded books for years.
Could we switch to comics? Shut up, Brian. Stop the video game talk. All right. Officially solicited Marvel Team Up 1 through 30, Daredevil 103, Giant Size Superheroes #1, and Giant Size Spider-Man 1 and 2. 840 pages, $100. And again, your two covers there, the Jim Starlin cover and the Gil Kane cover. Incredible, two classics in the Solicits. Incredible Hulk Omnibus Volume 3. And this is collecting Incredible Hulk 135 to 170, Avengers 88, and Marvel Superheroes #16, 912 pages, $125. Meaning whenever we get Volume 4, we'll have the first appearance of Wolverine. Secret Wars Battle World Omni Volume 2.
I'm very surprised that they are moving really fast with the Battle World.
So
Omni.
It's like
a lot
of the time, right? Like an end of year volume every year. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's going to be 4 years. But I guess spreading them out is also a good thing. I don't have it near me, but maybe one of you all do. Wasn't the first one $150? Or am I mistaken?
I think you're mistaken.
Okay, thank you. Can someone double check? Collecting
I'm
Future
going
and
to
Perfect
check
1
right
through
now.
5, Ghost Racers, Giant Size Little Marvel, AVX 1 through 4, Guardians of Nowhere 1 through 4, Hail Hydra 1 through 4, Hank Johnson, Agent of Hydra, House of M 1 through 4, Howard the Human 1, Inferno 1 through 5, Infinity Gauntlet 1 through 5, Tillin Rising 1 through 5, Korvac Saga 1 through 4, and MODOK Assassin 1 through 5.
I will.
1,176 pages, $125. Yes,
You are not mistaken, Omar. It was 150. I just looked back on it. Yeah, 150. $150 for the first volume, which has 1,256 pages in it.
Subhuman, I will take an apology in the form of Switch 2 games.
It's the only times when Omar isn't mistaken is when I'm
only times. What? Clip that, James. All right, here we go. House of X, Powers of X with a new printing. Collecting House of X 1 through 6 and Powers of X 1 through 6. 448 pages, $75. I know I'm near that one. I think that original printing was $50. I think, but also printed in America. Because it was 60.
No, it's a pretty. You know what? I have my copy. I'm gonna go. Oh, you have it.
I was looking at it. Yeah, it's 60. But that one was printed in America, and a lot of people had problems with that one. Y'all were busting on my Sheridan printer. Versailles represent. Oh, you
and
nothing.
I will say, folks, this could be nothing. This is one of the most evergreen stories of all time. A lot of people say, I picked this up and I didn't know a lot of X-Men and I was confused. Yeah, the people who knew X-Men were confused too. We had 4-hour-long shows for every issue to try to explain everything. Omar was on one of them. They were crazy. The whole point is that it's a big idea comic book, and you're not going to get everything from it, even if you fully know every single thing that's ever happened in X-Men, and that's okay. That's what Hickman is doing here. So, I mean, this is going to be evergreen because it's going to be recommended for years. When the X-Men movies come out, it's going to be recommended. When people get to the animated series, it's going to be recommended. Even me, who has a hard line, no Marvel content from after 2015 in this house, will be buying a physical copy of this because I just reference it all the time. And it's a gorgeous book, thanks to Laras and RB Silva.
Yeah, this was my gateway into Marvel Comics. I had never picked up an X-Men issue before House of X #1 or Powers of 10 #1. A friend of mine at the comic shop gave me a copy of House of X #1 and said, "You need to buy this." And I bought Marvel Comics exclusively for like 1 to 2 years because of this comic book. So I owe Hickman, Labraz, Silva, Garcia, and Tom Mueller, Clayton Cowles, all of those guys a big thank you to getting me into the Marvel family.
And you own the original printing?
I do. Yeah, I got the DM cover.
Yeah,
I don't like that mass market cover too much. Yeah. I'm never a fan. I mean, you know that's about me by now. Never a fan of a montage of differently sized figures piled on top of each other. That is my least favorite cover trope.
Yeah, I think I like DM too.
Heads? You don't like floating heads and bodies?
No, I'm not a big floating heads. I'm not. Why is Moira at that scale behind Magneto at that scale, and then with Apocalypse stacked on top of her like she's a totem pole? Like it's just weird. It's a weird design. And then the Xavier. I mean, I feel like I'm just looking at a Joe Mad cover. And then Xavier with like the big L of psionic energy just cutting off the top part of the cover, like it's a corner box. Like there's something that's supposed to be there, but then all that's there is one of the dots of the Krakoa. Like it's just a very strange graphic design approach.
It took me like 3 re-looks at the cover to realize that Apocalypse was the guy behind Xavier. Like that's how much my eyes were tricking me.
And what is the face on the left? Is that
it's one of the people from Year 1000.
Oh, I thought it was Destiny.
It's just a very strange cover, especially when you've got that Mark Brooks cover.
You all have put a lot of thought into what matters to me is what does Jess think about the anatomy of the cover?
I am having trouble spotting Professor Xavier. Where is he on this cover?
He's wearing the X.
He's the guy with the helmet.
Oh. Right. Okay. I forgot that he always wore that thing. I kind of have to agree with Peter. I'm not a fan of mishmash covers. Not a fan at all of floating head covers. I got the DM of this when it came out, and sort of similar to Dom, I was already into X-Men when this came out, but this got me really into X-Men, and I need to finish up my Krakoa read soon because I really, really like that whole Krakoa era so far.
Curtis, why aren't you in here expressing your feelings?
My friend, where are you?
Show me where everything is on that.
Struzen movie posters too. Yeah, you monsters. I was about to say, I bet you all hate all Star Wars and Indiana Jones posters.
Like, it also took me a billion years to figure out that the person in between the year 1000 person and also Apocalypse is Dr. Aaliyah Gregor from Orcus. But you as a reader, you're like, you don't know who that is.
A million years.
Wait, where is she?
Which Power of X is that?
I can't believe I'm spending this much time on a freaking
cover.
Let's
go. Let's roll. This is a reprint. Everybody's happy to get it. One more thing. People asked if it could be an omnibus, like it was on the omnibus poll last year. So if you scroll back up, Omar, they could have renamed it omnibus if they wanted to. It's 448 pages, which is on the small side, but there have been omnibuses of that size and smaller. But they're just keeping it an oversized hardcover. It's not getting the omnibus label, but people did vote for it as an omnibus last year. And I mean, it's effectively, if you want to think of it as an omnibus, it's in all but name only.
It is absolutely worth it.
It's the gateway.
100%.
Real quick, Blas, I love Pepe Larraz. Like, he's the only reason to why I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man right now. It's just that cover. I have liked better covers from him. Okay, that's it.
All right. Moving on to Ultimate Spider-Man. Omni Volume 5. Ultimate Spider-Man 150 to 160. Ultimate Fallout number 1. Ultimate Marvel Team Up 1 through 16. Ultimate Spider-Man Super Special 1. And then material from Ultimate Fallout 2, 4, and 6. 856 pages. $100. Both covers, David LaFuente and Mark Bagley. And yes, I remember what you all said. That's the exact same direct market cover to the Death of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Death of Ultimate Spidey,
yeah. So I will let them know because I know things get confusing. Marvel Masterworks officially announced here Ghost Rider Volume 7. So we have What If and What If 17 and 28. So collecting Ghost Rider 74 to 81, Defenders 145, and the material for Marvel Superheroes number 11. This is it. This is the last Johnny Blaze era. 304 pages, $75, coming to an end. Who knows? Maybe we'll get 2 Omnis one day out of this era.
Well, and there's really nothing else. A lot of people love to play this game with the Masterworks of like, well, what would be in a volume 8? He kind of just is in Champions and then goes away. There's not really an odds and ends volume to do of him. So it's just so amazing to have this in color. Just a few short years ago, none of this had ever been collected in color. We only had it as essentials. So to me, this is a rousing success. And as Omar said, I'm sure we're going to get 2 omnibuses probably within the next 18 months, the first one. That would be my prediction.
And more of the Walter Simonson run in Masterworks format for the first time. Collecting Thor 349 of 359, Annual 13, and Marvel Graphic Novel number 15. 392 pages, $75. Is Charles Fess, is he the one that did that graphic novel 15? Anybody know off the top of their head?
Let's see. Marvel Graphic Novel 15.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, I've never read that.
It's a pretty book. It is the original colors. That's what makes all the Masterworks stand out. Tron. Download. I know I told you both that I wasn't going to be talking about it, but David gave me the go ahead this morning. So he was like, yeah, go ahead. Tron download by Peter David and Jai Nitz. So sorry. Pencil by Mirko. Dang it, where's Curtis? I need him for that.
Pierre
Federici and Andy Tong. Thank you, man. Collecting Tron, the original movie adaptation 1 and 2, and Tron Betrayal 1 and 2.
Crazy.
It's because it's the original movie adaptation, and then the one called Betrayal 1 and 2. So this is a trade paperback. It is 200 pages and $19.99. And that covers by Salvador La Roca. Yeah, this was supposed to be... I don't think it's even in the catalog. I think that's why they wanted to wait. But he made sure
this
that
was put up on PRH 2.5 weeks ago.
What is it?
If
it was in PRH, then I don't. Okay, never mind. I'll keep my mouth shut. Don't want to upset anybody in Marvel. All right. Magic Volume 1 Unleashed.
Get hyped, Jess.
Yes. Sight.
Collecting Magic 1 through 5, 120 pages, $17.99. Is this an ongoing series, Peter?
Yes.
Okay. Ashley Allen, Herman Peralta. What's Ashley Allen written before?
So Ashley Allen is brand new at this. She was in DC's Milestone Initiative, which kind of preps new authors for comic writing. And so she did some writing of like one-shot and anthology stories for DC, but this is the first series, limited or not, that she has been on. And of course, she's with a absolutely killer's row of collaborators, Herman Peralta and Dom. Oh, it's a really good colorist too, Dom, and it's escaping my mind right now. I'll have to look it up. But I really like this because we've never seen, obviously Magic goes off and does stuff, right? She's not just the Magic school bus for Cyclops as she has been for the past 12 or 13 years, but we've never really seen like, what does she go and do? And so that's very much the position that Ashley Allen takes on this, which is like, what does she do when she's off panel in Uncanny X-Men? And it turns out she's doing some heavy stuff. This has got a big tie into her alter ego as Darkchild, which she's had a lid on for the past decade. And it's kind of like, how firm is the lid on the Darkchild? Really, really cool. And it looks freaking amazing.
They got a solid artist on that.
I think it's Arthur Hesley who colors.
It is Hesley on colors. It's really the art. I mean, even if you don't love the story, every panel has looked good for 3 issues.
Herman Peralta's pretty good at the art thing.
And what is your generation called, Jeffrey Scott Campbell? Don?
Oh, what do we call it, Jeffrey?
Yeah, you corrected me. You're like, it's J.S. Campbell.
Yeah, JSC.
JSC, yeah. That guy. Back quote or quote. Where are you, Curtis? Get your back cover butt in here. All right. Laura Kinney, Wolverine. Volume 1, One Mutant Army by Erica Schultz and Giada Belviso. And the covers by Elena Casagrande. I really like her art. Collecting Laura Kinney Wolverine 1 through 5, 120 pages, $17.99. Is this another ongoing series, or was this
It's another ongoing?
It's ongoing, and I would go so far as to say this is probably like a top 3 mutant book right now for me. I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
No, I have found this very much enjoyable. I've already liked Erica Schultz from the stuff that she's been doing on Spider-Man, so to see her on a Laura solo book was something that I was looking forward to. I'm a little bit behind. I haven't read the latest issue, but I mean, you got Bucky Barnes in here. You've got Daredevil in here, gets thrown into the wind. Like all the guest stars who also like pop up in this book, it makes the book more fun. And I have been waiting for a Wolverine book like that. Like I like this more than Ahmed, which is crazy to say. But I found this to be a very, very enjoyable read so far.
Yeah, and I like the tactic of, I'm always skeptical when a book has lots of guest stars. I'm like, well, then just call it team up, right? Mm-hmm. But I really think Erica Schultz is doing something smart here because she's using it as an opportunity to just write quick stories that are satisfying. I really feel like that's where the market is going. You've heard me talk about it on my show right now. I do not think the market is here to support these like 12 and 15 issue story arcs on like a brand new, not A-list title right now. And Laura Kinney, we all love her, but she's not necessarily like an A-list star, and I think the way to keep this going is quick arcs, issues people can pick up whenever they want, other recognizable characters. I think that's the way to do it, and honestly, it's been really good. I love how Giada Belviso draws Laura out of costume. Like, the likeness is there. She really looks like our girl from 2004, 2005 grown up, and it's really, really cool.
Wait, that is the important question, Nick. Do we see Honey Badger?
Not yet, but I do think she will be coming in upcoming issues.
Oh, both Tron 4Ks are set for June also. Oh, man. I do love a good old 4K connection. All right. Finally. Oh, there you are.
Why'd you remove?
How are you?
I'm doing fine. I just had to finish up a meeting, and then I was trying to scarf down some lunch just before I jumped on here because I was like in between things.
Was it fried chicken?
Was it a shake?
It was not.
Did you have a milkshake?
No, I wish I did. No, it was just I had to warm up some pizza pockets.
Dude,
that's all I could do in like five minutes.
That is Honey Badger for always. Sorry, Curtis. Now, you'll have to be quiet for the next 30 minutes until we get to the epics. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Jump in at any time, dude. Deadpool Wolverine Volume 1, A Time of Strife by Benjamin Percy and Joshua Cassara, collecting Deadpool Wolverine 1 through 5. Now, this was a miniseries, correct? Thank you, Curtis.
I think at this point it's an ongoing. It might have been originally announced as a miniseries, but it's
ongoing. Huh.
People
at least until the second arc. Ongoing just means 10 issues in Tom Brevoort's world. So
I thought this was definitely I'm always late because my actual job has scheduled an 11 o'clock meeting that I have to attend. So I have to show up late. But you know what? That's fine because I'm just skipping these stupid Omni conversations anyway.
What the fuck?
Wow. Salty.
Almost made me drop the F-bomb, Curtis. What is your problem?
Whoa. You're just arguing over covers the entire time.
No, I wasn't. Don't
we needed you.
All. I was not part of that. I was ready to move on. These guys were breaking out each of the covers.
In our defense, it also wasn't an Omni that we were arguing over.
Right.
What the hell is a pizza pocket? A calzone?
It is very similar to a calzone. You're right.
How dare you, Curtis? His real job is comics related. I love it.
True, it is.
All right, moving on to all new Venom. Who is all new Venom? I'm not going to spoil it in case it's there.
Oh boy.
I have a lot of words for this book. I don't know about you, Peter, but man.
Wait. Can you say them without spoiling them really quick? And does it spoil?
No,
it doesn't. Good. Okay, it doesn't spoil it. But Al Ewing on Venom again. Go ahead, Dom. What do you?
So I actually was enjoying this for the first 4 issues. Brand new title. We're separating it from the Eddie and Dylan of it all. Cool. We don't know who this new Venom is. There's a mystery. There's an intrigue to it. The usual Ewing reveals are like whenever Ewing tends to do his non-horror stuff, I suppose. The Ewing that I like did not show up in issue 5, and that's
issue 5. The reveal.
Yes.
Okay. Did you didn't like the reveal?
I thought it was very poorly drawn out. But it is what it is.
Dude, this got spoiled for me on Twitter. I was the 1 week I go on Twitter and I see something and I'm like, God. But here's the thing. I actually had. I don't know if Hunter's watching. I had to find a friend of mine issues 1 through 4 because they saw the spoiler to 5 and they were like, "Oh, dude, I was ignoring the series. Now I got to get it." So maybe there is a little bit of reasoning why they went ahead with a spoiler of issue 5 as to who Venom is. I think Marvel themselves spoiled it on their own social media. If I'm not
they
mistaken.
did it the day before the issue came out.
I will.
I'm all for new ideas, but that idea sucks dollars. Dollars.
It is sucking dollars.
You know
right
what?
Out of your
It's
wallet.
the thing about these things is that yes, the idea always the concept might sound ridiculous or stupid or whatever, but it depends on if the writer has a great idea with it or not. I was like, really, we're gonna have a Dr. Octopus in the body of Peter Parker? That sounds so dumb. But that ended up being like the best part of Slott's 10 years on Spider-Man. So yeah, maybe this is stupid. We'll have to see after the story's actually told if it holds up or not.
Mileage may vary. So
I will say Carlos Gomez draws a very cool Venom. The best parts of this book for me has been when Venom is just in a fight, and to see the way Gomez plays with how deconstructible the costume is. It's not just one big hulking mask. It really leans into the symbiote quality of it. It transforms, it oozes, it gets big, it gets small, and the art has been really, really fun. So I think if you're somebody who has more patience for a story that maybe or maybe not a good mystery or entertaining, but really loves the art in a Venom book, to me, it's very fun and glossy and shiny Venom. It's not dark and scary Venom, but it really works.
I think, we forget that there's also Venom people like me as an X-Men guy. I'll read anything X-Men. I'll complain about it and how horrible it is. What is Wolverine doing cutting someone's hair? This isn't my Wolverine, but I'll still get it. And there is equally that amount of people that are picking up Venom, that no matter what, how ridiculous it gets, no matter who the new host is. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, fam, with the Ewing X-Men Omni, what are the chances we get a Marvel Cosmic Universe by Ewing Omni with Ultimates, Ultimates 2, Defenders, Defenders Beyond? Ooh, I like the way you think. Rocket and Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the Guardians of the Galaxy will have to have that Last Annihilation crossover to wrap it up. That would be nice, because then that means that Guardians of the Galaxy by everybody, at least modern, had been collected in oversized format.
This should already have some type of collection of Ewings, what he was just saying, because I own all of that in trade. So this already should be.
No, Jess, the way it works is once something is out of print, you have to go and try to find it. You're like, oh man, I got everything but volume 2. And then when you pay like $90 for that volume 2, that's when the Omni gets announced. That's how these things work. There are sacrifices that have to be made. Oh no, Colin, Lansing and Colin also had a run too.
Yeah, 10 issues, and then it got cut.
Helverine, thank you again for the super chat, and that I actually really like that. Maybe when we do the most wanted poll, we'll have that on there.
If we don't that one away.
File that away. Helverine, Volume 1, Lost Highway. And this is collecting Helverine. The second Helverine series, 1 through 5, 120 pages, $17.99.
Please let me hold forth about my pansexual murder son, Daken.
Thank you, Nick. I appreciate that, buddy. Omar is correct.
So we left our buddy Akihiro in a not so great place at the end of the Sabretooth War. That was a little disappointing for me, who loves and cherishes him. But Benjamin Percy, you know, I like things that are bad sometimes. Benjamin Percy, though, had a plan. And so he brought him back via this idea of the Helverine that he established in a Ghost Rider and Wolverine crossover during Krakoa. And so then we had a first Helverine miniseries last year that was really just, it wasn't about the character of Akihiro. It was really just the mechanics of how does he come back as Helverine. And then this is an ongoing series. And if you've enjoyed Daken, if you're a fan of his history and you like where he's been, this is very much about him as a Ghost Rider with magic and not just claws. And I've really enjoyed how it leans into his character history. So if there are fans out there, I discovered Omnibo and Max, both big Daken fans. So it's not just me. And I would say that I love my pansexual murder son. And I actually launched a new guide for him this week because I've been loving him so much in this series.
When you talk about Daken and you said pansexual, I'm going to start referring to Wolverine as oversexual. My favorite oversexual
He's
Canadian.
hot claw daddy. That is.
Oh,
he doesn't have hot claws
stop
anymore.
branding Peter.
He's always going to be your hot claw daddy, Omar.
Stop calling Wolverine that.
That's the omnibus after the Return of Wolverine omnibus.
Is this a miniseries or is this an ongoing?
They
Ongoing.
keep splitting them up into 5-issue minis, Omar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do not love Daken. How do y'all pronounce the name?
I looked it up. If you look up the actual Japanese symbols for it and listen to the pronunciation, it's like Daken. Daken. Yeah.
Daken.
Daken. Okay.
But how do you separate that from the space person, Daken?
I don't know.
Oh, that he doesn't have an A, so that's
because it's an apostrophe. But you know,
yeah. So it's why? You know what? Never mind. English is my second language. I'm just gonna move on.
Mine too, that's why I'm asking.
I still get in a fight with people over Raj Al Ghul. Like Phoenix Volume 2, Cosmic Ascent. Stephanie Phillips, Marco Rena, collecting Phoenix 6 through 10. 112 pages, $15.99. First volume, I did not expect it to go where it went, but sure, I was in. Really weird scene with her and Corsair. Cyclops on the phone.
You don't like talking with your father-in-law, Omar?
Not when he's naked. That is really weird. And Cyclops on the phone going, "Do not let my naked father around you. He will hit on you."
I will say I did like the second volume of Phoenix a lot more than the first.
I think the flames on the cover are appropriate because it's hot garbage.
Oh, okay.
That you were referring to Helverine?
No, not
What
my
were
boy.
What? That's what I thought. What were you just talking about?
Phoenix.
You don't like it? I
Oh.
thought that would be the book for you. It's Jean on
If anything happened, here's the plot. Spoilers, here's the spoilers. Phoenix gets more power, then she gets more power, then she gets more power. Then she doesn't narrate her own book because a bunch of other characters point to her and say, Phoenix looks like she's got more power. There, I saved you $15.99.
Well, you spoiled it for me. What happens to the chick that was hunting her down in the first volume? No, don't spoil that.
It's good, guys. Go pick it up.
In the Black Order.
Well, I love Stephanie Phillips' writing. I'm surprised at
I
that.
love her indie stuff. Grimm is like my jam.
Grimm is really good.
Yeah, Grimm is really good. Ultimate Wolverine Volume 1, The Winter Soldier by Chris Condon and Alessandro Cappuccio, collecting Ultimate Wolverine 1 through 6 and material from Ultimate Universe 1 year in. What is everyone's thoughts that have read this? Because I see that people are kind of divided when it comes to this.
I think I'm at the point, Omar. Like, I read the first issue. I was just expecting a lot more to happen. But I do think there is so much decompression in comics right now that it does get tedious when you are following this on a month-to-month basis. So I'm looking to reread issues 1 through 6 when that's all said and done. Yeah, that being said, I do wish a lot more happened in some of these issues where I'm just like, can we get the thing rolling along? That's where I'm at with this book.
Cappuccio has been the artist the whole time.
Yeah, and his style is different than on Moon Knight. I would say it's a little rougher. It's got like a little more texture to it. The art is incredible. I mean, the quality of the book is incredibly high. Do not get me wrong. It looks great. It's tense. I love the direction of the story, but I think Don is absolutely right. After 3 issues, I'm like, okay, when are we going to get an issue where like an actual amount of things happen? But I will say, for people who are not fans of Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, or people who are fans but just want to see more X-Men characters, this really has been Ultimate X-Men. It's had Ultimate Wolverine, Mystique, Nightcrawler, Gambit, Kitty Pryde, Colossus, Magic, and these are all characters that are on the covers and in this list, so I'm really not spoiling anything here. This really is what many of the X-Men characters you know and love have been up to in the Ultimate Universe. I have faith. I think it's solid enough, and I think Condon's going somewhere. Yeah, I do agree with Don that it's decompressed though.
Oh man, come on! It can't be more decompressed than the original Ultimate series. It took like 6.
Well, I mean, we're only 3 issues in. No, it's not like we have a big.
Original Ultimate comics, like Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimate Wolverine. Those, the Mark Miller and Brian Michael Bendis and Ultimate Fantastic Four. Man, they were really writing for trade back then. Like it really felt like every 6 issues, something very small was happening. All right. So both of you are saying, wait, I do appreciate that each and every one of these Ultimate series, Ultimate comics, are different than the other. Like none of them, or at least the ones I've read in trade, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Spider-Man, and Ultimates, feel like they're different type of comics. Like they're not even in the same type of universe. Ultimate Black Panther too. NYX Volume 2, Mojo City, collecting NYX 6 through 10, 112 pages, $15.99, and this is it, right? Colin.
Yeah, this is the end, or partly for NYX. The Hive Mind are working on the summer event X-Men book right now because we can't get enough of those on our lives. But yes, this is going to be the cutoff for this specific series, and something will come about in the summer with the Hive Mind again.
When you say Hive Mind, you mean Colin
Kelly and Jackson? That's their nickname.
That's
the Hive Mind. That's a cool nickname. Boy,
maybe
they got a lot to
better.
They got a lot to live up to with a name like that, though. And X-Men with Alpha Flight. X-Men by Jed MacKay.
It's time to shine. Alpha Flight's on the cover.
Hostile Takeover by Jed MacKay, Netho Diaz, and Ryan Stegman, collecting X-Men 11 through 12 and 14 and 18. 160 pages, $19.99. I assume issue 13 is part of that crossover, the Hunt?
Yeah, the Great on Grey Malkin with Uncanny.
Okay.
This is fun. This is a lot of like 1 and 2 shot X-Men stories. You do not have to be reading all from the Ashes. Actually, I would say if you want a place to just dip your toe in and see what's going on with the X-Men, this trade is a perfect spot. There's a 2-part story that's got some Alpha Flight stuff going on. There's some stuff of what's going on in the town in Alaska that they're living in. I think Jed MacKay, again, I really think the trend right now on trend alert, is series that can tell quick stories in 1 and 2 issues, because these things cost $4 or $5, and heaven only knows if they're going to cost $6 by the end of this year if they're printed in Canada.
You all stop talking about these things.
And so I really think that like you want to pick up a comic book issue and feel like you got a complete story again. Let's go back to the 70s and like get complete stories. And Jed MacKay got the memo, man, because these stories, 1 and 2 issues, they're really, really satisfying. They look great. I would say if you're a Stegman fan, Netho Diaz is the perfect alternating artist to Stegman. He keeps a very similar vibe, but his characters are just like a little bit more cleaner and not as like twisty as Stegman's, but really you could sometimes mistake one for the other. I really think this is a book that's got the goods. I think if you're looking to dip your toe into X-Men right now, this is a place to start. And Alpha Flight. So always bonus points in my book for Alpha Flight.
Excellent. All right. X Factor by Mark Russell, Volume 2, Know Your Enemy. Collecting X Factor 6 and 7 and 9 and 10. 112 pages, $15.99. Issue 8 is another part of a crossover.
It's part of Manhunt. I got the 13 wrong. So thank you to Varsus in the comments. Yeah, it's part of the Manhunt crossover with Professor Something, who comes back.
Okay, Jess, I know you're a fan of Mark Russell. I read the first volume, and I think I can't remember. Peter, you don't like this book, right? You weren't a fan of this.
It got a little stronger in this volume, but
okay,
yeah.
I still think you should read it, Jess, because there's a lot of Russell tropes in Volume 1. A lot of the jokes that he tells, even in like things like Press or the Flintstones stories. Like, I wonder if he's got his own universe building inside of his head. But there are some jokes that he tells that kind of you'll recognize them if you've read enough Mark Russell. So you may get something out of it. I don't know.
Okay, I have heard an awful lot of people are not on board with this. Maybe it's not Mark Russell's. Maybe he's not good at team books. I don't know, but I appreciate that you said that, because I do love Mark Russell. So I'll give it a shot and decide on my own.
I wonder if it's most people that are X fans, or if it's people just reading random comics.
Maybe it's a problem with the writer. I don't know.
Melanie liked it more than I did. It wasn't my favorite, but I think you'll get something out of it. X-Force by Jeffrey Thorne, Volume 2, The Solution, also wrapping up this series, collecting issue 6 through 8 and issue number 10, $17.99, 136 pages. I actually really liked Volume 1. I enjoyed it.
I'm going to miss Marcus Toe on a ongoing title.
He's such a great writer. What is Fabian doing on this book? What did he write in here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are they adding something later? Jim Toe, Marcus Toe, and Edgar Salazar. This was the most. I think Peter and I had a conversation about this when sometimes we just get together to talk about comics. But this was the most X-Men, to me, back to the basics type of story. Like, it's a team, they have a mission, and they go on different missions every issue, and they have to complete the mission, and not everybody makes it out. But I had a lot of fun with that first volume. I thought it was a fun volume that reminded me of old school X-Force.
I just looked back on Solicits, Omar, and issue 10 does have an anniversary issue that is drawn by Edgar Salazar and written by Fabian Nicieza as part of it.
Fabian. Yeah, I like when Fabian writes some X-Force. I did not know about this. This is under the Marvel Animation logo.
Hold on. Go back up. I need to know what Crisis thinks about this cover.
I will say, first of all, this is much more. We were talking about Drew Stutzen, who does the Star Wars posters, which are beloved. This, to me, works better because there are two specific perspectives, right? We have the team in one scale in the front, and then we have these other X-Force characters from the past looming over them in 2 layers of the back. There's the Wolverine team, who are one size, and then an even bigger size, the Cable and Ferrell from the original 1991 team. I don't love it. I do love how they're using Cable's shoulder pad as a whole backdrop on one side of the cover. That's really entertaining. But to me, this like compositionally, this makes more sense. And they're all like coming from a single vanishing point. The composition of this makes more sense than like random floating heads or giant totem stack of heads, or like it just really, there's more place for my eye to move.
It looks like Wolverine's riding some type of space bicycle or something with the Cable's shoulder pad. It looks like he's riding in some, I can't make it out. I can't make out what Wolverine's doing. He's in like the Thanos copter or something.
He's riding Forge? Is that what you're saying? Like, that's Forge right underneath him with a giant gun.
Big
Is that what you're looking at?
What in the? Okay. Thank you. It's got
that is a man.
It's got Warpath. I did not pick up on Warpath, and then
it's Forge, but that's okay. He's been working out.
Oh, that's Forge. Okay, sorry, you said that. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. And now, who's the woman with the rifle down below?
Sage.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You got Rachel. You got Betsy.
What's that arm sticking out right above Psylocke's head?
That's Psylocke's other hand.
That's her hand.
It's who?
Curtis, do you have your drawing pencil so we can do it again?
She's just got both of her arms out. She's running.
Like.
Okay. I see, Curtis. Thank you.
Look what you started, Curtis. Who even are all these people?
Get off my lawn.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh, Leo Romero, I miss you. Come back to comics, please.
This is an actual prequel to the cartoon. Like, I think it's in
this
canon.
Show was phenomenal. This show was so good. So I'm probably going to check out this comic.
Did you like the animation style, or did you like the story, Curtis, or both?
Both. I thought they were both really, really well done. The story was excellent. I watched it with my kids, and we both had such a great time. And like that last episode with the timey-wimey, it was just really, really amazing.
It has one of my favorite episodes of any Marvel show, and I think you'll probably appreciate it with the slingers.
Yes. Totally. To see slingers show up, that sort of.
Whoa! I did not expect that. It's not my favorite animation style, but I watched the whole thing. That was pretty good. I do like Christos Gage a lot. That guy, I don't know why he's not a big name. And Bruce, with the animation sucked.
Wow.
No, the animation I thought the animation was really good. The visual style, maybe it's not what you liked, but I thought that the characters moved around really, really well.
See, I thought they were pretty stiff, but this is not the review of the show.
Well, I mean, that's stiff because that's TV animation, and there's no getting around that. But when they got
he can draw that stuff. I like the show, but it's not a good adaptation of Spider-Man, at least in my opinion. I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, it's a different Spider-Man, right? Like, he lives in a
different Spider-Man.
Yeah,
they took a lot of liberties for sure, but at the core, it's still Spider-Man. I thought he still acted like Spider-Man would act, and I don't need to retread the same like Ditko issues all over again or whatever. Like that's not what I want on a Spider-Man show now.
Dude, I didn't know that Gage has been working on all the Spidey projects. He also wrote the Spider-Man video games. No wonder he's not writing comics. I was like, that guy's
making real money and other.
Well, we think. I don't know how much animation pays either. Man, that's what I was thinking. Right, I really like him. Like he's great. I will say the animation style, though, the choppy animation style that we're talking about, it's everywhere. It's an anime. Like every new anime I watched, like my wife and I have been rewatching anime, it has that same type of animation style, which is the fake hand-drawn animation on CG that they've been doing for a few years now. I don't know. I really do miss hand drawn animation, even on TV shows, right? TV animation can be great. Just look at Justice League from 20 years ago, or Invincible from now. See, but even Invincible, Bruce, I would say that Invincible also has that same choppy, and I don't want to call it soulless, but at times.
Here's the thing: is Invincible is really great with their action sequences, absolutely. But if it's two characters standing, if you like blocked out all of the screen where nothing moved, it would be pretty much black except for the mouth opening and closing. Like they take a lot of shortcuts on that show because they spend a ton of time on the action sequences. So when in that first episode, when Omni-Man goes on that tirade, it's absolutely beautiful, but it's only for 5 minutes of the show. The rest of it's very static. And we're talking about Justice League. 20 years ago, animation was very, very different. The Warner Brothers put a lot of effort into their animation in the 90s, leading up into the early 2000s. But the industry doesn't support that anymore. And 2D animation is just way too expensive to do these days.
That makes me sad. Daredevil Unleash Hell, Red Band. Look at these. There's going to be some Red Band trades here. I thought they were going to skip out and just do like a regular version, but this is Daredevil Unleashed Hell Red Band 1 through 5, 120 pages, $17.99. It's a continuing story about Daredevil that Erica Schultz has been telling. This is, I think, the third miniseries, right?
Yeah, third.
She's worked on.
Yep,
Yeah. Third.
And it looks like they're bringing back Muse, probably because of the TV show.
I got spoiled on that by a friend of mine.
About what?
Muse popping up in the you know what?
Oh, but it was in the trailer.
I don't watch stuff to not get spoiled, man.
But you knew about Venom. I just assume you would know.
You have unfortunate friends that send you stuff, I think, is how I get sent news all the time.
Sometimes I wish I had Jess's brain where he just forgets. Like, even if something's spoiled for him.
I wish I had Jesse's brain.
6 months later, when he's reading it, he totally forgot that it got spoiled for him. I love that about him.
It is useful.
Prodigal Son, also Red Band. So explicit content. Look at that cover. Red Band, baby.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm surprised they put that cover on the front.
Me too.
It's Red Band.
Very violent.
Well, the inside is Red Band. Usually the front covers are a little friendlier than that.
Okay. Oh, you don't like. Yeah, it's very violent. It's very violent.
Which I don't have a problem with. It's I'm surprised because usually they're a little bit more sensitive just what's going to be on shelves at comic book stores, that kind of thing. Like, didn't they bag the single issues?
Yeah.
The single issues are back. I don't know about Blade nor the Daredevil Unleash Hell, but Blood Hunt and Wolverine were bagged. So
I think they're bagged so people can't be looky-loos in the comic store to just see how bloody they are. I think it's meant to be like dangerous. So I have no comments on any of these because there's no digital versions, because Marvel not only will not put mature readers stuff generally on Marvel Unlimited, but they also are not even selling them on Amazon. So I will not get to read these until they hit trade, and I guess I'll buy the digital trades.
We're not done with Red Band. Werewolf by Night, Volume 1, 2 Wolves, and Jason Liu and Sergio Davila, and collecting Werewolf by Night, Red Band 1 through 5, and Werewolf by Night, Blood Hunt.
Dom, can I have you?
It is Jack Russell. Go ahead.
Sorry, Dom, can I have your mailing address so I can mail you all the single Red Band issues that I picked up? Because you said they would never be collected.
Who said that? Go ahead, Dom.
This guy.
You're being called out, Dom.
So I want to send you all my Red Band issues just so you can have them as a
that was your moment to
That works for me.
That was your moment to shine. You should have gone off on Jess.
You should have.
Jess, you leave him alone.
I'm offering to send him comics.
You flip those comics, so he'll buy them. Jess will forget that he sent them to you, and he'll be buying them on eBay later. Infinity Watch, Universal Destruction. collecting the new Infinity Watch 1 through 5. No Warlock to be seen, but there are some familiar characters if you've been reading Marvel comics for a long time. This is it's spun out of that Thanos crossover that they did with Annuals last year. What was it? It was the Infinity Quest. Is that what it was called?
I think it was just Infinity Watch. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just called Infinity Watch?
I'll say for this, one of the things I really like in comics, I know y'all are like, your opinions never make sense. I'm very consistent that I just
No.
I like a team book.
Nobody ever says that. No, what people say is your opinions are very bad, but go on.
Gotta went all the way around to get to there to the punchline. But one of the things that I consistent about, I love a team book, and I especially love a new team book when the team has a reason to be together. I get very frustrated when it's a team book that's kind of like Defender style, and it's like, we're all here, we don't even like each other. These people don't like each other, but they have a reason to be there because they're all the embodiments of the Infinity Stones currently. And something that I really enjoy is I don't think since the Infinity Watch in the 90s, we've seen a lot of the Infinity Stones be used well one at a time. It's always like the quest to get them together, and I don't feel like there's a lot of good stories about like, well, what is somebody doing with the Power Stone? What is somebody doing with the Reality Stone? And I think Derek Landy, through that Annuals crossover last year, did that really well to the point that I was actually looking forward to Annuals crossovers, which I never do. And then this book has been like really entertaining me. So somebody wants to get all of the Infinity Stones because of course they do. And so they fight them. And I don't want to spoil it, but a couple of them use the stones individually in really powerful ways that yield some really interesting results. It goes in a little bit of a deconstructionalist Gwenpool direction at one point in issue number 3 that just came out. I think Rory Coleman and Enid Balam are really good, very contrasting artists that draw very differently for a very specific reason in the story. I think what am I trying to say? This is not like classic Adam Warlock Infinity Watch, but if you like the Infinity Gems and you like teams of characters and you like a story that's actually about the Infinity Gems, this will make you happy.
Wow, that was a big pitch for this series. There are
I think, when you have a series like this that has a name that it's like, what does it mean? And like you look at the characters and you're like, I only really recognize Star, although that's Colleen Wing and what's his name from the movies? Not Coleman. Coulson. Yeah, but I do think series like this, sometimes people just take a pass because they don't immediately know what it is. So I think it's really useful to like tell people, what is it? So I just want people to know. I'm not saying I love it. I'm not saying I hate it. I'm saying it's something that might interest you.
Okie dokie.
So you're saying I should buy it? Okay, I will. Thank you.
There are 7 Infinity Stones now.
Yes,
and they're stones officially in the comics, not gems anymore. That has been changed because when I was reading the crossover, I was like, "Why are they calling them stones?" And apparently, while I was sleeping, they snug it in on me. TVA for all time, always the creative team of Catherine Blair and Ryan North and Pere Perez, collecting TVA 1 through 5 characters from the TV show. It looks like, right, including Mark Grunwald.
It's really interesting. It's planned. Dom, I'm definitely interested in you've been reading this. It plays at first and in the marketing as if it's in continuity to the MCU. It's not officially, but it's got our Gwenpool, and then it has a bunch of alternate universe characters that could be from whatever universe.
You mean Spider-Gwen?
But it's or a Spider-Gwen. Thank you. It's got our Spider-Gwen. It's got a bunch of characters that could be from any universe, but it's 616/Earth-65 Spider-Gwen. But then it plays the TVA exactly as they're played in the Loki show and the Deadpool movie. So it's not officially an MCU and 616 crossover. It feels like maybe it got pitched that way and then Marvel got shy, maybe. But it reads as though it is. Dom, have you been reading?
No, it definitely feels like that. And I was questioning myself when I read the first issue. As just like, are they going to make this 616 that just happens to have like MCU synergy, or is it going to be completely synonymous with the MCU and it's marketed as it's a 616 book, but it's part of the MCU? So I was surprised when it felt like the book was like fighting itself in like, which continuity do we want to make this based off of?
I will say it's probably my favorite Perry Perez art of all time. I think he's going off on this. I love every page. Really cool layouts, really great likenesses, really great art. And Catherine Blair has a real facility for character voices. Like these characters all feel really distinct. Even this Gambit is not a Gambit we've ever met before. It's a new version of him. It feels like I like him already. So I think that that's a real talent for a writer to come in who's not a regular Marvel writer, who's used to writing for screen and like makes all the characters this distinct. I appreciate that.
I was trying to figure out who that dude is on the left hand. Is that Gambit?
Yeah.
Let me help you walk. I'll walk you through this, Omar.
Oh, that would be a fun game. That would be a fun game.
It would be.
Sam Wilson, Captain America, Better Angels, and collecting Sam Wilson, Captain America 1 through 5. Usually they give the year. Have we not had a series called Sam Wilson, Captain America?
It's a brand new series, but yeah, no, this just released not too long
Greg
ago.
Pak. Okay. And Evan Narcisse and go ahead, Dom. I'm sorry.
You know, I mean, this series released, not too long ago. Obviously synonymous with the movie, and it very much feels like it was made in creation, for the movie. There is a part of me that kind of wishes that the Hive Mind or the Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly era of Captain America, there was a Sam book, there was a Steve book. It makes me wish that it went on a little longer because I felt this book was a little bit all over the place. And I typically like reading Captain America books, but there was just something about this that felt off in terms of what it wanted to say. Because yeah, I mean, it feels like a movie pitch.
The comic does?
Yeah. Well,
I see Patriot in it, and I see Storm and War Machine. So Torrin Clark is the cover artist. The Spectacular Spider-Man, Volume 3, Strange Love, written by Greg Weisman, Andre Janelle, Von Randall, and Emilio Lizo. Collecting Spectacular Spider-Man 11 through 15, and that covers by Bagley. They give credit to Emilio Lizo. This is Greg Weisman, who did Gargoyles and, of course, Spectacular Spider-Man. So writing comic book is still going, right?
Yeah, but Humberto Ramos is off the book now because he's going to be doing the brand new Fantastic Four relaunch.
Oh, is Ryan North still doing that?
Ryan North is still on Fantastic Four.
Another relaunch.
They're relaunching it?
They're relaunching it, but it's the same writer who's been on Fantastic Four for the last couple of years now.
I mean, honestly, I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm a collected editions guy, so I'm okay with that. It's just relaunches can be a pain in the butt for people that keep reading them. But I get it, creators even have said that, people were buying issues 20 as much as they're buying issues number 1. They wouldn't have to. Daredevil by Saladin Ahmed, Volume 4, Last Rites. Aaron Cooter, Jose Luis Soares, and John Romita Jr. doing the covers. Collecting Daredevil 16 through 20. I've read the first 3 trades, so I haven't read any of this stuff yet. Was it pick up? Thoughts? Anybody?
No, I don't know if I've ever seen an ongoing title, like a long ongoing title, Batman, Superman, X-Men, whatever, with as many regular readers drop it as I've seen on this Daredevil book. The Daredevil fans are in revolt.
Somebody who knows 5 of them. We haven't been pulling this book in like 8-9 issues or more. And I loved it. Like I picked up all of the single issues of Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil. I picked up 1 to 36, picked up the annual, picked up Devil's Reign, and picked up the 14-issue series right after. This is definitely not for me.
I actually liked the first 6 issues. And then it became a really slow burn.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Building up to something that I mean, we were talking about earlier how what were we talking about? The Ultimate Universe, right? Was it Wolverine? One of those books we were talking about how much of a slow burn that was, and that's what this feels like. If that's the overall arc, I wish other things were happening in between. But it seems like this big arc is just being built up since issue number 1.
I want to clarify too that it's not I don't think we're just complaining because it's a long arc. It just wrapped up last week in issue 19. There was no reason for the buildup. It's been the 7 Deadly Sins series, which I love. 7 Deadly Sins stuff.
Mhm.
Daredevil had to confront each one of them as he regained pieces of his memory. I really like that concept. But then it got to the end, and it was like after 19 issues, there was no end. Wrath. I'm not going to spoil it, but Wrath is the final sin. And you're wow, there's a lot of potential there to fight Wrath and have a fight against Wrath, because Wrath, right? The only Wrath I felt was the Wrath that I felt from reading the comic book. Like, you can go on my show. I was 60 seconds of pure Wrath talking about it. So that's the thing. It's not just that it was a long arc. It's that it was a long arc, and you feel like after 19 issues that there should be like a payoff or an ending or a crucible or something. And like the end of Zdarsky's second run of Daredevil really put you through the friggin' ringer in the last couple of issues. And this one kind of just sad trombone.
This panel is better than 5, but who is which member? Can somebody help me? Who is that?
I can't make it out.
I think you're just saying 5. Is there a comic called 5 with the number 5 as the F?
Will somebody from the youth please translate that?
Elon, explain yourself.
What if the reader was the Wrath we made all along?
Exactly.
Yes, they have used the title in Last Rites before. Saladin's a horrible writer. No, I actually really enjoy Saladin Ahmed. Like, a lot of his independent stuff is solid.
Black Bolt's still one of my favorite comics, of the last 10 years. I really enjoyed that.
What was it?
Black Bolt with Christian Ward.
Oh, that was
yeah.
great. That was great.
It's
a boy band? It's a UK boy band in the 90s.
That's a pretty deep cut there, I guess.
Deep cut. That was a deep cut. The Incredible Hulk Volume 5, God's Drink Blood, collecting issues of Incredible Hulk 20 through 25 by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Danny Earls, Nick Klein, and Kev Walker. Good to see Nick Klein staying on the book. And I'm a big fan of Kev Walker. I have been for years. 144 pages, $19.99. And Hellhunters. Oh, this is a spin-off of that. They were introducing the pages of Incredible Hulk because I actually like the characters. I didn't know they were doing a spin-off. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, actually. I was skeptical, but I'm having a good time. I could read a whole World War II book right now. Let's kill some Nazis.
I agree.
His Miles and Miss Marvel are good, in my opinion. Farsis. I will say Miles, for me, started strong, and then it took a deep dive south. Miss Marvel stayed actually pretty consistent. Yeah, this book, I'm in for this book, man. I really like the concept. Ghost Rider 44 fights alongside Marvel's iconic wartime heroes, like Wolverine. Who? Peggy Carter and Sebastian Sardos. Sabretooth, the Dead. Oh, Frank Terry back doing some more Wolverine and Sabretooth stuff. Okay. Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk 1 through 5. Michael Sta Maria is the artist. And Adam Kubert's That's a Kubert? That doesn't look like a Kubert cover.
But I will say, first of all, really, Hellhunters, so much fun. Sabretooth, Dead Don't Talk. It's literally Sabretooth in the early 1900s. It's exploring what happens as he's just in New York. Michael Sta Maria is fantastic. If you didn't read last year's Jem DeMatteis miniseries, Shadow of the Red Goblin?
Either
the Red Goblin or the Green Goblin. It was really good, and he's, I think, an artist to really watch. The reality and the heft that he's able to give these like streets of early 1900s New York with Sabretooth walking around, the amount of like costume design and building and stuff, it's just really cool. I mean, Thierry Gonatieri, it's a Frank Thierry story, but it is kind of cool to see Sabretooth being evil and mean in this world. It's not a super powered world, and he's kind of just like a big heavy. Think it's really the gangs of New York, but with Sabretooth in it. So if that sounds appealing to you, that is what it is. Straight up.
Yeah, Gangs in New York. This is a Tyler Kirkham cover, Omar, not Kubert.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it didn't look like him. Honestly, it didn't look like Tyler Kirkham either, but cool. I actually like Frank Thierry. I know some people don't like him, but I really like this Weapon X series. I know you don't hear a lot of people say that.
I liked his Harley series.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I know some people didn't like his Harley series either.
At first I didn't, but then I reread it and I enjoyed it a lot more.
Ryan Wilson's asking, is it an alternate universe? It's just set in the past, right?
It's just,
Nope, just an in-universe retcon.
Ah, okay. Alien Paradiso. Steve Fox.
Written by my friend Steve Fox.
1 through 5, and Peter Wynn and Jason Moore. Ivan Coelho doing the cover. Yeah, man, more Alien comics. I'm in. Explicit content. Give me that red band, baby.
Yeah, I would say the gore in this gets a little red bandy.
Yes. Give me. Oh, that is the way to tell an Alien and Predator story, right? Miles Morales walking away. Oh, wait. Okay, this is. Oh, I'm sorry, Curtis. Curtis.
Your moment to shine.
Wait, your moment to shine, my friend. Go ahead.
Okay, this is Miles Morales, Modern Era Epic Collection, number 2, Spider-Man No More, which is the same title as the Spider-Man Epic Collection, Volume 3. But, you know, you got to have that walking away thing in every Spider book. I think every Spider character has that scene on the cover there. This one is Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 13 through 28 and 16.1. And the first volume I loved. I thought it was really great, and I'm looking forward to reading this one too.
I read the Omni in one day. We were doing an old reader, new reader, and Aaron, prices are always subject to change. I have no idea what the fuck this is. Well, this is the solicit, so it should be closer to what it is. I don't know. Catalogs.
I'm gonna pull up the actual price right now, Omar.
If it's in the catalog, that's always subject to change too. I actually really like that Omni. I'm not the biggest Bendis fan, but I really like that Omni. And then the third act, Bendis gonna Bendis, and something happened. And I was like, "Oh man, it was so good." I don't think it happened.
We have that third volume scheduled for January of 2026, so I will find out what happens at that point.
Yes, this material is in the first Omni. If you have the Miles Morales Omni Volume 1, it's the same material. That's already. I don't think they added anything, including 16.1. I'm kind of a newish comic reader. Can someone explain what the whole idea of an epic is? Give me 1 second, Jim. I'm gonna put the man with the plan. There we go.
Okay.
Go ahead, man. Take it away. Explain what a Marvel epic. I'm kidding.
Opposite of what I'm looking at here, which is an oversized hardcover.
All right, Curtis. Explain what an epic is.
The epic collections are Marvel's attempt to give us long unbroken runs of their long-standing titles. They've been doing this for about almost 12 years now, and they and now with like Spider-Man, which has been running since the 1960s, we've got over 25 volumes of Spider-Man, almost all of them consecutive, doing the whole run from the start all the way through the 90s and beyond. And the thing about the epics is that they are in digestible chunks, 500-page chunks, usually around 500 pages. And this one's 384, so it's a little smaller. And they don't print them out of order. They kind of jump around, hitting up different eras and different creators as they please. But they're really great. They're better than Omnis, and they're worth your time and effort to go track them down.
Ouch. Casa Finch with the hot takes until DC Finest ain't even been out a year and they're already doing it better. Curtis, what do you say about that Marvel Epic podcast?
You know, Marvel had to run so DC could fly. Or did I get that?
It's very close. It's very close. But I got you. We get it. All right. Next up, Curtis.
Spider-Man Deadpool Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 3. You're welcome, Jim. Thanks for your question. This collects Spider-Man Deadpool 33 to 50, and this wraps up this title. This is going to be a complete Epic Collection series now. And the first 2 volumes are already out, and the content is hit or miss. I kind of like about half of it. I do like the second volume more than I like the first volume, though. So and then you leave it off on kind of a cliffhanger. So I'm eager to see how this story wraps up.
I actually
if
think
you
this
like,
end run is super, super strong. I really think you'll like it.
good,
It's
awesome.
I felt
great.
the same way as you for the beginning, and then I basically just loved every issue. It's funny. I think Robbie Thompson is another one of these authors like Gage, who's like very undercredited for how solid his comics always are. So, and I would say people who want to dip your toe in, you could just buy this. Like this tells a complete story.
Well, if you well, yes and no, it does, but it does end on a cliffhanger, and you'll want to know kind of the resolution of the story. But the funniest thing about here is there's a big chunk of this story devoted to Spider-Man and Deadpool as senior citizens in a retirement home, and it's really amazing.
Oh, that is those are good stories. That was Robbie Thompson, right?
Yep.
They did do an oversized hardcover of this series, but only the Joe Kelly stuff, and that was it. That was it. And Young Avengers, Modern Era. I'm sorry, Curtis. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Modern Era Epic Collection, Dark Reign. This is volume 2. And this is just a collection. They didn't have their ongoing series after this, so this is a collection of different mini series. Most of them that tie into the events that are going on. So we have a Civil War tie-in, Secret Invasion tie-in, and a Dark Reign tie-in, and a Siege tie-in. And I don't know if reading them all together like this is going to be a great reading experience, but I really do like these characters. First volume was really good.
I'm happy that they're mapping it this way. A lot of these, when I my history with Marvel is really interesting. Before I was taking people's suggestions, I was suggesting adding things, and the Young Avengers Omni, when they sent me the content, was missing the Young Avengers and Runaways and the Secret Invasion Runaways, Young Avengers, and Dark Reign, because they were making it basically like the Alan Heinberg and Jim Chung Omni. So I asked if they could add those issues, because I feel like, while the characters weren't written by the by the creators, they were still part of the Marvel universe. So I'm glad that they also included them in here in this epic collection. That's awesome. Dude, I love this series. I love these characters. Thor.
Modern Era Epic Collection, Volume 3, The World Eaters. Matt Fraction back again for the third volume of the Thor Modern Era Epic Collections. This is still the area after Siege where, Siege was in the last. It's what closed off the last volume, and so this is the post-Siege stuff.
Yeah.
What is it here? Thor number.
Matt Fraction stuff.
This is the beginning. Who was doing it before?
Gillen.
It was Gillen. That's right. And then this is when it splits in two, and Gillen keeps on going, but with the journey into mystery side of things with Kid Loki.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is Thor 615 and 621. So 621 plus 620.1, Mighty Thor 1-6, and Free Comic Day. 2010, the Thor story, I would assume. Oh no, actually, it's one whole story with Thor and Iron Man together. I don't know, not much to say of this one because I haven't read it yet. Like all of this modern stuff, I've never read any of. I'm introduced to all of Marvel's modern stuff through these epic collections, and it's been really neat to see what I've been missing over the past 20 years.
This is very much, we went, the last volume transitions from JMS to Gillen. Here, Thor kind of Thor, written by Fraction, sets up Kid Loki, who then Gillen will take off with and Journey into Mystery. So Journey into Mystery starts basically in the middle of this. And then this kicks off like a big Galactus story with Fraction. it's just not as exciting. I think coming off of the JMS Thor and the Gillen Thor was like so hype. Fraction kind of plays it a lot cooler than them. So I think a lot of the fun and like wild vibe of Thor really translates into Journey into Mystery at this point, but it's still a very readable book. Not one of Fraction's best books. Sometimes Fraction gets on a book and it's fine, but you just don't feel that like manic Matt Fraction energy on that book, whether it's the humor or the crime of it or the whatever. And that was kind of it on Thor. I don't feel like Fraction ever really like had the heart of Thor, but it's never bad.
Oh no, I disagree. I think it was bad.
Yo,
I did not like this. The saving grace of this run was bringing in people like Walter Simonson. It had artwork by Olivier Coipel and Mark Brooks, and I think Pascal Ferry doing some of the stuff. I don't think like it just wasn't. It wasn't good. Yeah,
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to it now.
Well, no, Curtis, I always tell people to read things for themselves and judge it for themselves, because Peter and I vary in opinions. Like he usually the things I love near and dear, Peter ends up hating, and almost vice versa, right? And I think that's great though, because that's what makes good conversation. And don't ever, just because I don't like something, don't ever not read it. You should read it for yourself because you may end up loving it.
I'm sure there's Jess doesn't like it. That's usually a sign that you should skip.
Yeah, Jess loves everything, including X-Men: The Last Stand, which I've never met anybody who loves X-Men: The Last Stand.
Wow, holy man.
Yeah, man.
Like, how did I stumble into the stream today?
Well, you've been really quiet, man. So we were trying to get you back in. We were trying to get you back in. Oh man, this brings back memory, Curtis.
Yeah, this is a volume that was delayed for over a year, I think it was, maybe even longer. Star Wars Kanan Modern Era Epic Collection, The Last Padawan, Volume 1. This is a one and done. It collects both of the short... Oh, no, it collects the whole 12-issue series. So it's going to be a small one, 272 pages. But it's complete. It's complete. And yeah, I'm not sure why they delayed it for so long, but they did.
It's $37.99 by the way now, Omar.
This is $37.
This is $37.99.
That is an odd pricing. Okay. Where did you see that?
Penguin Random House.
But don't they change the prices there too?
They changed it like 3 weeks ago. This was one of the ones that they raised by $3, $10, and $5 for all the epics that are coming out in the next couple months.
All right. Daredevil, Man Without Fear, Volume 8.
Oh, here we go.
Frank Miller stuff.
Yeah, this is Volume 8 to Dare the Devil, and we are just getting into the Frank Miller stuff now. We're not quite at that Born Again stage, but we're getting close. This is Daredevil 155 to 176 with material from What If, number 28, and Bizarre Adventures, also number 28. 500 pages, $50. Did this one go up in price too, Dom?
I'm checking right now.
This is
it's $54.99 now. Yeah.
Roger McKenzie and Frank Miller. Roger McKenzie was writing it, and then Frank Miller ended up taking over the book, writing the whole thing. So it is in here when he starts writing the stories. Yeah. As soon as Elektra appears, that's when Frank Miller takes over the book. It's her first appearance. Another book, Generation X, Epic Collection, Family Business, Volume 5.
Oh, look at that in nice red letters. A never before collected era of Generation X. ...
And there's a reason.
Volume 5. Yeah. This is Generation X Volume 5 out of 6. So this is getting close to the very end of this series. Generation X 48 to 62. Plus Generation X Annual 99 and X-Man 50, which was a crossover with issue 50 of Generation X, and then New Warriors number 5, which was also being written by Jay Ferber at the time. This comprises all of Jay Ferber's run, all in one book, and it has very early art from Terry and Rachel Dodson. Mm-hmm. And you're right, it's not the strongest material from this series, but I kept on collecting this title all the way through because It was the one. It was the one book that I was committed to, no matter the highs and lows. And there were the
What the hell's wrong with you, Bart? Old people comics.
Bar, you little spud. What are you saying?
I was in college. I wasn't even reading comics when this was coming out. I was taking a break. We were on a break. And you calling this old people?
I mean, they're not wrong, technically.
The reason why this is not a modern era epic collection. It's an old people era epic collection.
That is volume 2 of New Warriors, not the original New Warriors.
That's right. Yep.
488
Yeah,
pages,
yeah.
$4.99.
So I submitted some bonus material for this book, and I don't know if they're going to use it. So we'll see if my name pops up in a special thanks.
Oh, like a big thank you! Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know.
You sending
We'll
a
see.
skin
I don't-
fanfic?
Yeah, right. Whoa, that's weird. Look at all that extra skin.
Oh,
We'll just
Okay,
go right past
Mike-
that and talk about the.
Oh, you meant the
background.
character skin. Got you. I was like, what kind of pictures are you sending, Curtis?
Micronauts Epic Collection, the original Marvel years, Home Sweet Home World. This is volume 2. Another, I think this volume's a little bit bigger than the last one. This one's 464 pages. Micronauts 21 to 35 plus annual number 2 and material from Marvel Preview 4 and 7. I don't know at all what the Marvel Preview stuff is. But yeah, this is after Michael Golden leaves the book. So the glory days that a lot of people say that the first 12 issues are the best of them all, but there's still a lot to love through this series, through this era here. And this is even older than Generation X. So if that was old people comics, this is like, your
Easy,
great
Curtis.
grandfather's stuff.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Curtis. Fear Itself, speaking of Matt Fraction and Thor, is coming back to print. So I have a feeling that perhaps the epics will not include Fear Itself, the modern epics.
No, we already know that they didn't do it in the Loki volume. So I don't think, we probably won't. This new printing is their last ditch attempt before they make a Fear Itself modern era epic collection.
And $34.99 collecting Fear Itself, Book of the Skull, and Fear Itself 1 through 6, and material from Fear Itself 7. Iron Man coming back. Look, where's John? Is John here? Iron Man Demon in a Bottle, collecting issues 120 to 128. Bob Layton, David Michelinie, Jim Shooter, John Romita Jr., Carmine Infantino. Finding Tell of Tony Stark, Iron Man, and one of the greatest Marvel comic stories ever told.
I need to
Fear
read
Itself is collected in the Matt Fraction Thor Omni, but not Fearless. That's not good. Which book, Varsas? It's a classic Iron Man stuff and more classic stuff.
Never mind.
Go ahead, Jess. Do you want me to go?
Second volume.
Jess?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You haven't talked much. It's your moment to shine, buddy.
I haven't read this before, so I'm interested in reading how close they got with Demon in a Bottle. So I can see myself reading this and just wondering, not judging them because I understand about writers, but I just wonder how close they came to the real experience.
We just read it for our Patreon book club, and Melanie had never read it, and it was interesting to hear her perspective on things. There are some things that I think, are very, very relatable to anybody that's been addicted to anything, such as relapsing, right? Like that happens. So, yeah, there's a reason why it's a classic. It is, or regarded as one of the greatest Iron Man comics. Fantastic Four by Wade and Ringo, Unthinkable. Yeah, baby. 67 to 7, 500 to 502. What's that, Curtis?
We just had the first volume of this released just a few weeks ago or last month, I think. And so they're following up. This is the stuff that comes directly after that one, which was, what was that one called? Imaginauts.
Imaginauts. Yeah, this has the Doctor Doom story, which is phenomenal and dark and amazing. Relapsing and buying the Death of Spider for the 7th time. we have 5 addicts to comics in the panel. This is true. It's not a bad habit. It beats being addicted to drugs, that's for sure.
Does it?
We live longer, Jess. You wouldn't be here if you'd be long gone not talking about any of these books.
You have me there.
And I don't think this was in the catalog, right, Dom?
This got put on Penguin Random House too.
Okay. Treasury edition?
Yeah, they're doing a Spectacular Spider-Man. Now, this is the classic Spectacular Spider-Man 2-issue, not the ongoing series. This is the stuff that was done in like black and white, but it's an oversized format at Treasury edition.
Yeah. The first issue is black and white, and the second issue is in color.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you.
But yeah, this is great stuff. This would look really, really good in Treasury size because the original printing was larger than comic size anyway, and so they're bumping it up a little bit. This stuff has John Romita at some of his best stuff. Really, really good, and a great story as well. One of these stories, in fact, I think both of them were adapted later, into actual issues of Amazing Spider-Man. These are the original versions. This is the oldest stuff yet.
These are collected in Omni Volume 2, I think.
Yeah, that's probably about right because I think they're in the Epic Collection Volume 4.
Okay. Yeah, it's definitely in one of those, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna do a quick recap for anybody that's joining. For those that won't get the Taschen, are they included in the Taschen? These, I thought they only did 2 Spider-Man so far, and they're nowhere near this era yet, right? They've done the first 2 years.
No idea.
I don't get.
It's gonna take me a couple minutes to answer that, but I do have the answer.
Okay, yeah, Taschen did 2 Spidey books, correct? And I think they do them by year, like 1961 to 62, and then 60. Well, no, maybe they did 63 and 64, so we're still a few years away before they do them. All right, Return of Wolverine, Omni, and we've got Uncanny X-Men Omnibus by Brian Michael Bendis, X-Men by Al Ewing, Omni, Dr. Aphra, Friends and Enemies, Omni, and Marvel Team Up. Eat that, Epicureans. Omnibus. I'm sorry, Curtis, you're still here. Incredible Hulk Omni Volume 3. The Secret Wars Battle World Omni Volume 2. And House and Powers of X. One hardcover coming back to print. Ultimate Spider-Man Omni Volume 5. Wrapping up that era and then jumping into the Miles Morales era, Marvel Masterworks Ghost Rider Volume 7 and Marvel Masterworks The Mighty Thor Volume 24. That wraps up Ghost Rider, and this is continuing the Walter Simonson run. Tron Download, coming out by Peter David and Jay Nitz, and Magic Volume 1. Out, and Laura Kinney, Wolverine Volume 1, One Mutant, Deadpool Wolverine Volume 1, A Time of Strife, and Al Ewing's All New Venom Volume 1. Who is All New Venom? Wolverine. Seal of approval from Peter. Volume 1, Lost Highways. Phoenix. Volume 2, Cosmic Ascent. And Ultimate Wolverine Volume 1, The Winter Soldier. NYX Volume 2, Mojo City. Oh, Mojo. That's one character I dread reading. X-Men by Jed McKay Volume 2, Hostile Takeover. X Factor by Mark Russell Volume 2, Know Your Enemy. X-Force by Jeffrey Thorne Volume 2, The Solution. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Old School, New School. Daredevil Unleash Hell, the Red Band Edition. Blade Prodigal Son, the Red Band Edition. Werewolf by Night, Two Wolves, the Red Band edition, and Infinity Watch, Universal Destruction. No red band for that. TVA for all time, always. Sam Wilson, not Steve Wilson. Sam Wilson, Captain America, Better Angels. The Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 3, Strange Love. Daredevil by Saladin Ahmed Volume 4, Last Rites. Incredible Hulk Volume 5, Gods Drink Blood. Hellhunters. Really excited for that book. Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk. Alien Paradiso, or Paradiso. Miles Morales, Spider-Man, Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 2. Spider-Man No More. Spider-Man Deadpool, Modern Era Epic Collection Volume 3, Road Trip. Young Avengers, Modern Era Epic Collection, Dark Reign, Volume 2. And Thor, Modern Era Epic Collection, Volume 3, The World Eaters. Star Wars. Curtis, is it Kanan, or how do you pronounce it? Kanan,
Kanan, I think.
All right. Volume 1. It's Tekken.
You've never watched Rebels, Omar?
I don't remember how they pronounce it, man. Kanan. Daredevil Epic Collection Volume 8, To Dare the Devil. Generation X Epic Collection Volume 5, Family Business. Micronauts Epic Collection Volume 2, Home Sweet Home World. Fear Itself back to print, as well as Iron Man Demon in a Bottle. Fantastic Four back to print, the Wade and Ringo Unthinkable. And the Treasury edition of the Spectacular Spider-Man. This Monster Treasury edition. All righty, folks.
Now, those Taschen books are up to 1966 right now in Spider-Man. And
not too
those
far.
those Spider-Man magazine issues are 1968. The Taschen books, confusingly, do not actually credit the issues that are inside of them anywhere in their solicits, which is very hard to figure out what's inside of them. But just based on the year range, I don't think they are in the second Taschen book.
Well, they would be in the third one. Well, at least one of them will be. All right. How is it that I own a series Omni, but I prefer to read it digitally? I'm off to reread Afra on Unlimited. I'm a bit lazy to pick up that heavy book. Maybe you should consult your family doctor about that. What is the number one book you're most excited for, panel and everybody watching? All right. Jess, my friend, what's the book you're most excited for out of this solicits?
I think I'm looking forward to Battle Worlds Volume 2. And I'm conflicted on the Laura Kinney and Magic trade paperbacks. I feel like I should get them because I'm always worried if I don't get the trades, they could get abandoned like Juggernaut was in the Krakoa era trades. So I'm kind of wondering if I should.
Wait. You're conflicted on the Magic and Laura Kinney.
Whether I should pick up the trade paperbacks.
Why wouldn't you not pick them up out of curiosity? You're thinking that they're going to do like an anthology from the Asha series?
I feel like in 3 years they're going to collect all that stuff in some type of omnibus or something.
All right. Just I'm gonna hold on a second. How am I gonna do this? Give me 1 second. I know what to do. All right. I'm gonna talk to you like a friend, Jess. You get it. You get it while you can, Jess. You get it and read it while you can. You do not wait 5 years for a possible Omni to come out. You get it while you can. All right. Now we're back to our regular. Sorry, I had to have a secret conversation with Jess. I don't know why you needed to sit down for that. You get it while you can, man. Dom, what about you, my friend?
I'm gonna go with Tron. For the I got a flashback to when I was in 5th grade. My crush at the time gave me a Tron toy for Secret Santa for Christmas, and it sparked that memory back up again. So I will say Tron because I've never read it.
Where the heck is it?
No, our age difference means that I could have had the same story, but it would be referring to the first Tron movie.
Tron, the original movie adaptation 1 and 2, and Tron Betrayal. But you got Peter David doing that stuff, my dude. All right. All right, good choice. Peter, what about you?
Well, I speaking of missing the boat on collecting things, I did not buy Hoxpox the first time around because it was solicited before it was all out, and I wasn't sure if I was going to care. So I'm very happy they're reprinting it. But for me, it's the Gen X epic. I mean, it's rare at this point to get epics that have collected things that have never been collected before in color, and we're only one away from it being finished. I actually really like early Dodson art a lot better than I like current Dodson art. So I think that one is really, really exciting for me. But a lot of really exciting books in this catalog. I think the Ghost Rider Masterworks wrapping up, very exciting. And that's also been uncollected in color before. And I really love that Young Avengers epic collection because I think it's great to have all those miniseries coherently in one paperback. So I will also be buying that. This catalog actually has a lot for me, even as someone who skips modern trades.
Manguito, en español.
Nice.
Well, I got this. Todavía no veo a mis inhumanos anunciado en formato Omnibus en estos videos. Qué mal. I'll translate that for the non-Spanish speakers. Thank God they have not done an Inhuman. Because who in the world in the right mind would buy that? I got you.
Definitely don't vote. I saw something about not voting in there.
I got you, my friend. All right. Curtis, what about you? What are you most excited for?
Well, funny you have the picture right up there on the screen already for me. It's the Generation X Epic Collection, Volume 5, Family Business. I'm very excited. Oh, I got something in my throat again.
You're getting choked up.
Yeah, very. Yeah. Makes me tear up. Yeah, not just because I'll buy. This is my favorite comic, and I've said that many times, and I'll buy it in any format, and I have bought it in every format so far, and I'll probably when the omnibus of the first 30 issues, the omnibus by Lobdell and Bocello comes out, I'll probably get that too. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
How are you doing, Ian and Becca? Yeah, the next one will be the Warren Ellis stuff, right? Like the Counter X stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's got some great covers. All right,
Arthur Adams.
Arthur Adams doing the covers. And for me, I got to go with something I've been looking forward to for a long time. You're right. There are some pretty good books in this catalog, or in this solicits. I'm sorry, but I got to go with Marvel Team Up. I've been wanting. I missed out on even when the Masterworks were coming out, I never got them. I had just random trade paper or single issues of Team Up, so it brings back a lot of memories. Now there were 150 issues of Team Up, right?
Yes,
150. This is the first 30, and yeah. I do the covers though. I do like that Jim Starlin cover. And it's got Hulk and Spidey, so probably that one for me. Yeah, some fun stuff. Not the greatest, right? Not the greatest, ups and downs, but some fun stuff in here nonetheless. And then one day, Curtis, you will get your Epic Collections. Hi there. This is my first live. Great channel, my friends. Nos vemos. Thank you, Danny. And it's good to have you here.
Wonderful to have you on board.
R is talking to someone else.
She's saying
that for us, Omar?
I can speak Hebrew if you put it back up.
Just don't get me canceled. Oh, God.
Very fine condition is nothing compared to the great Omnidog.
You really think I should write? I hope somebody that speaks Hebrew is watching for the first time. And
I can't help what she said. I'm the messenger.
Sure you can. So interesting fact about Team Up. PRH has it including Giant Size Spider-Man 3. Interesting. That's got to
be a mistake. That's got to be a mistake because that one I think has.
Shh, don't say it. Don't say it just in case. Maybe will slip by. Okay. I know what you're going to say. You're going to jinx it. They're going to take it away from us. And I don't want that to happen. All right. What is everybody else in the chat? What is your number one book? Sorry about the intervention with Jess. I had to do that.
I appreciate it.
DC has all of Cosmo's money already. None of them books are out. They already got his money. These are all fine, but none of them are Booster Gold, the complete 2007 series, Volume 2 available. Richard Bradley. That's awesome. Are you Dan Jurgens? Because I love that book too, man. Ewing X-Men, but I'll pick up Afra and Bendis is uncanny. I'm surprised you didn't go with Bendis. All new Venom, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, Bring Gray Hulk, Joe Fixit to the comic series, Miles Morales Epic Collection. And let me keep going over here. Have any Omnis have been train wrecks and need to be remapped? Omnis? Or oversized hardcovers, yeah, Spider-Verse, and that was remapped.
That's the first thing I said in response to that.
I think Spider-Verse is notorious for being the one that should have been remapped. And they did. Who can wait 3 years? That's right. Just Thor, Masterworks, and Epics. Hoxpox reprint. X-Men, plural, by Bendis and Ewing.
Plural.
Return of Wolverine. Give me that hot claw daddy. Why did you start that, Peter? Please, can we never see that again? All right. Return.
I think I have to credit. I think that may have been Zach, who is the former editor-in-chief of Comics XF, who coined that, and I just ran with it because it was so perfect. He is our hot claw daddy, and will forever be.
Okay, right. Let me scroll through here. And Hulk Volume 3, although wish they used the Incredible Hulk 139 DM cover as the DM cover. Spider-Man Marvel Team Up. It's a very close second. And that does complete the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. That's the last Marvel Masterworks. Jess, would you like to tackle this one? This is from our buddy Freddie.
Sure. El don omnipero permitiendo Omar decir disparates.
It's a good thing my family does not watch this show. They would be like, what is happening in the United States? Daredevil Epic, but this team up Epic sounds awesome. Which is the House of Powers of X. I've never read X-Men before. What's the release date again? That one, what was it, Dom? Was it September?
For House of X, I've got
If only I can.
November 18th for the new printing.
Oh, that's right.
Jim,
It was going to be December, but they moved it up.
Jim, if you've never read X-Men before, I recommend not reading House and Power of X. I think that there's
disagree with that.
Really?
Absolutely.
But it's so like steeped in jumping on
but
for what reason? Like,
well, Peter,
all of the stuff with
Curtis. Sorry, wrong person. I'm so used to yelling at Peter and arguing with him.
No, continue yelling at Curtis. That's fine.
No, I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna raise my voice. But most of X-Men is like that. Any jumping on point for X-Men is like that, where it's confusing at first. And I think that's part of the beauty behind the House and Powers of X. That kind of you're along for the ride. We were all confused too. I think we said that earlier on the stream. We were all
maybe.
confused.
I mean, I think jumping on to any other era is probably less jarring than jumping on with this era if you know zero about X-Men, because you're introduced to a zillion characters at once and concepts that are steeped in so much history, like all of the time travel jumping around. I'm not sure. I don't know how it would be to a complete new reader who doesn't know anything about X-Men.
All right, Dom.
As somebody, that was the House of X #1 was the first X-Men comic that I read like ever. Like that was my first Marvel book. I had only like watched maybe like one or two of the movies. Never got into any of that stuff before. Were there moments that I was confused? Sure. Like I mean, I'm confused with any new thing as I am. But I found like the more that I got into it, the more that the series moved along. When Dawn of X started, I found myself loving it. I found myself wanting to understand more of like, okay, like we're moving from year 10 to year 100. You got like weird stuff in year 1000. And I was never as impressed with a comic and the concepts as House of X and Powers of 10. So as for somebody who had never read X-Men before, and as somebody who like that, that first experience was, getting into House of X, I couldn't recommend it anymore to a new reader.
And I think X-Men is about confusion. I think any X-Men run that professes like, you don't need to know anything, jump on right here, they tend to be the worst X-Men comics because not because they're like baby's first X-Men comic, but because the X-Men it's an ongoing soap opera. It's about nuance. It's the most interesting cast of characters in all comics. There's a reason X-Men comics, when done well, are the best comics in all of comics. So like lean into that. And if you try to like make it super, super accessible and building blocky, you give away everything that makes X-Men good, and you just get a boring comic that's the same as every other crappy team book from every other crappy publisher.
Okay, well, then in that case, go for it, Jim. I want to hear your full report.
Look, Curtis giving you a warning is always a good, like, Curtis would not throw out a caveat if it wasn't worth hearing, like this is Curtis is not hot with the hot takes. Curtis has room temperature takes, and they're important to listen to.
Room temperature takes. Wow. That's what happens when you're an epic reader. All right. Marvel Team Up is my number one, and the animation is still horrendous. Thank you, Bruce. Micronauts, X-Men by Ewing, Hoxpox, HC, Generation X, none for my buddy Aaron, Hulk Volume 3, Marvel Team Up.
Not even Marvel Team Up? Not even, hey, you're not going to get the Marvel Team Up Omni?
Are you talking to Aaron?
No, yeah, Aaron, big Spider-Man fan.
Maybe he's waiting for the epics.
Right? He might be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Hoxpox
but who knows? They might never do it.
Batman Red Skies, where they look up and say, hey, what's with all the red skies? Hey, Omar, I promised you gifts last month. Apparently, I lost the Captain Harlock DVD. It's okay. My storage room is a total mess. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. Thank you for even thinking of me. Spider-Verse OHC was okay. You all made it. Oh, my God. Freddie. No. Freddie. No. Freddie. No. I can't let that slide. When you have to, like, write down the reading order of the event that actually has some parts, like at the very, like I did that, dude. I had like a sheet that I had in my right before the table of contents, or I'm sorry, the credits page. That's a problem, right? A lot of omnis get passes, like for me. I'm like, okay, I can see why they put this in the back. That one made no sense at all. Like, to me, that's one of the worst mapped omnis or it wasn't even an omni, I'm sorry, as Flashpoint. I hated the way Flashpoint was mapped. The biggest problem with that event Omnibus. It was the Return of Wolverine, but Crisis might have put him off. I will find it and send it to you on a specific date. Right now, life is busy, and so you're okay, dude. Thank you though. Dr. Afra and Ewing's X-Men. Sorry for the random subjects. Hope you're doing well, man. I'm doing okay. I'm amongst friends talking about comics. So life gets no better than this. I know someone whose first X books was Hoxpox and they didn't understand anything. I agree with Curtis. Ooh, shots fired. Maybe I should make a poll. I've seen X-Men Last Stand. Does that help with my reading experience? Jesus.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, you only go up from there.
What's the YouTube schedule for the rest of this week? Well, today is Thursday. Tomorrow's a big dark, and I mean a big dark horse video. I think they're like 28 books that I read. And something else in the afternoon. Saturday's the live stream. Sunday is the Humanoids book. What is it? Arkady and the Lost Titan, which I could not put down. I stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning reading.
Arkady.
Arkady.
Yeah, that's at least that's how Humanoids. When I was working on that project with them, that's how they were pronouncing it. Arkady.
What did you do on that project? Did you do the marketing, Curtis, or
I built their Kickstarter page for them?
Oh, dude, that's awesome! Why didn't you tell me?
It never came up in the conversation.
Because I have, I know a lot of the folks that work at Humanoids, and it was kind of like their first one, right? They hadn't done a Kickstarter.
It was their first one.
Dog Savage Omni for Marvel and DC runs, please. Whoa, dude, one day. Daredevil Epic. Omar, if the Dawn of X anthology series trade paperbacks got canceled before Krakoa era got finished, do you think the Dawn of X Omnis will continue until Fall of X? Okay. This is one of the biggest questions that I get, and I'll be honest with you and everybody else, including my brother. I don't know. I don't want to tell you yes. I don't want to tell you no. I can't see the future, unfortunately. I'm not being a smartass. It's just, I really don't know. It really depends on sales. If the books keep selling, they will continue it. If the sales drop, they won't continue it, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So I don't know. I hope I do for everybody's sake. I assume sales and pre-orders of those first 2 volumes are going to be big, just because that series was so adored, and it came up to like what, number 6? Peter, was it number 6 on our most wanted poll?
It was just for that volume 1, but actually we put all the volumes on the poll just to see how they would do, and they all got votes. Like people don't just want Dawn, they want all of it. The thing I keep saying is, I mean, of course it's going to sell, but the first 3 to 5 volumes have Hickman attached to them, and after that I think it's going to be a harder sell, which is why I think it's really strange that Marvel's putting out like the Ewing book and the Solicits. If they held off on that, more people would have been drumming up anticipation for the anthology style omnibus to get to Ewing. I just fear that by releasing the Duggan, the Ewing, and I assume coming soon, Gillen omnibuses. I mean, I have no insider information. I just assume, because we've got 2 of the 3. Like, I just feel like it lessens the fervor to get the anthology omnis that far, because those are the big 3 tent poles of X-Men. So we'll see, and we'll see how they're mapped when they actually come out. What the reading experience is.
That is the important thing too. A good comic will provide the context you need to enjoy the story. Yep. Read and judge for yourselves. Well said. Well said. I was trying to figure out what's on your avatar. I thought it was Kamina's glasses. Omar can see the future. He is lying.
Omar is destiny. This is a revelation.
First of all, I would be mistaken that relationship, not destiny. Oh, this is cool. I was wondering why my Arcady, Arcady,
yeah,
started copy shipped from Clover. Now I know it had Curtis all over it. You had his dirty hands all over your book. You are right, Omar. Curtis,
I promise you, I didn't touch it
during the last Q&A. You said you watched. You lied to us. I lie all the time. Nor can I see the future. You figure that out.
So he really is Mystique.
Fight for Sandman Mystery Theater Compendium Volume 2.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully, I don't open it up to find blank pages with the words "fooled you." Oh my gosh! Please don't say that. Got it. They're not gonna last. Well, not with that attitude, douche.
I'm gonna be buying both covers.
What we need is a Spurrier Omni to go with the rest of the creator centric line. Omar is an old lesbian. 100%. Yes, this is so true.
You've been
Did you drive a
outed.
Subaru?
Not yet. Nor do I have a bunch of cats. Is that a stereotype?
Yeah.
I don't need or want it all. I'll stick to creator-centric omnis for Krakoa. Make Dugan's Iron Man happen. Are you telling me what to do, John? Or you're suggesting things, John? You got your Iron Man Omni for the decade. That's all you get. You better buy it up. You better buy it. You better tell your entire family about that Iron Man Omni up. Question for the panel. Everyone calls Miles Morales rather than Spider-Man. Should he just reveal his identity and go by his real name? Yeah. What you mean, like Miles Morales Spider-Man? What's
I think what Logan is just referring to
like
is
Laura Kinney Wolverine, like that series.
Yeah, like people often like when people think of Spider-Man, they don't think of Miles Morales, right? They think of Peter Parker. So the question is, would you rather just have Miles not be, just be called his regular name?
Well, I think that's one of those things where there's tension between us as fans and the in-universe. Like in the universe, people do seem to just refer to him as Spider-Man, especially he's like the hyper-local Spider-Man. If there's Spider-Man and he shows up for you like in Brooklyn, it's probably Miles. But as fans, we're like, but we all say Miles. But you have to suspend a little bit of disbelief in comics to like let the characters be who they are in the comic book. It's like all the Justice League calls Batman Bruce, but he's still Batman. So I hear what you're saying, and that's why his book will always have Miles probably in the title, because they tried it just as Spider-Man and people don't realize it's a Miles book. It's the same thing with Laura Kinney. A lot of us just think of her as Wolverine at this point. Talon didn't really stick. We're kind of through with calling her X-23. It feels like it was her kid's name, but like to sell the book, they've got to let you know that Laura's in it, as opposed to Elektra right now is getting marketed only under the name Daredevil. And if I'm being honest, I think they're losing some sales on that, even with her front and center on the cover, because I do think there's people who would read Elektra as Elektra and they don't realize that all 3 of these miniseries have been Elektra miniseries because they're all named Daredevil.
The one of my favorite experiences doing this channel for a living is getting to interview people, and then I'm interviewed. sometimes by other channels, but I was interviewed by this school in New York City. And it was amazing. This was the second year that it happened, or 2024 was the second year that it happened. And these are a group of 4th and 5th graders. So it's still that like really adorable age before middle school, right? When middle school kids end up hating everybody. But one of the things I asked was like, you know, who are your favorite superheroes? Dude, it's so crazy and different how these kids are as opposed to, you know, what I think and what I see. So I asked about like Batman. Who here likes Batman? Like hardly any of those kids got excited. And then I asked who likes Spider-Man, and one of the kids goes, "Which one?" And I was like, "About Peter Parker." And a few of them were like, "Yeah." But man, when I said Miles Morales, like 90% of those kids started jumping up and down and shouting. It was insane. Like I was like, these kids, you know, this is a different, obviously it is a different era. It's a different generation. Those kids know Spider-Man or Miles Morales as Spider-Man, not really Peter Parker. They see Peter Parker as that's the old guy that trained. He's the Mr. Miyagi to his Daniel son for the Gen X kids out there. That is crazy. Like I didn't, you don't see that. Like, you know, whenever I do overviews and stuff, I don't see that from the comments. It's mostly like, when are we going to get the real Spider-Man? But it's crazy
that phenomenon happens quite a bit, because I think that a lot of kids who grew up in the 90s would say the same thing about Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider.
But I think a lot of it comes from the movies, though, right? Like a lot of these kids aren't reading comics. Some of them are.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes,
but a lot
absolutely.
of it has to do with the movies and what the movies have shown them. And what the movies have shown them is that, hey, Spider-Man is Miles Morales. That old guy swinging around with him is Peter Parker. He's the one that trained him. So it's just a lot different generation.
You know, I mean, Omar, to that point, like my brother who is still in high school, he's got all of his friends and all of that. They don't view, like, they do not care for Peter Parker. Like most of them, like their Spider-Man is Miles Morales or one of the other ones who, you know, showed up in the Spider-Verse movies. And I just find that super fascinating to see that like different generations and different types of people have an affinity for, you know, different characters. And I do think that there is I don't know, like growing sentiment for characters like that instead of the old guard, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah, and my point is like, you know, who the hell am I to take that joy away from those kids that see him as Spider-Man? I'm an old guy that likes Peter Parker, but it, you know, to those kids, that's their Spider-Man, and I thought that was really cool and so different. Just to a whole generation, there's going to be, you know, the next generation of comic readers, they're being introduced to characters. I don't, you know, to me, I'm like, whatever. That's a ripoff of Wolverine or a ripoff of Captain Marvel. Whatever, you know, whatever it is, it's crazy to see what they find or what they will find as their favorite characters. Some of the Marvel cartoons called Miles Spidey or Arachnakid or something lame like that. Just call him Miles Spider-Man. I mean,
so
in the movies, yes, right? In the movies,
there's a preschool show where they gave him the name Spin because they couldn't have two characters named Spider-Man in the same show as regular characters. So especially if you're talking to, you know, preschoolers, so they called him Spin.
Yeah, Peter.
And that show has music from Patrick Stump of Fall Out Boy.
Why?
Which is actually, it's awesome.
Why would you like? Can I have one stream when we don't talk about those fools, please?
I was gonna say, let's we gotta get Amanda on here.
She could. Oh my God, she tells me all about it, and I'm like, oh man.
Amanda's Fall Out Boy sense has started pinging. She's been summoned.
Spidey sense.
I could sing the whole theme song too. It's very good.
Oh my God. No Barry. Oh yeah. See, like, to me, it was, you know, like this is another example. But to me, my Flash will always be Wally West. That was the Flash I grew up with. That was the only Flash I knew, because by the time, you know, my first comic was Crisis on Infinite Earth 7. So by that point, I would thought like that Flash was gone forever. It's crazy.
And Kyle Rayner as a Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Was that your Green Lantern?
Yeah. Kyle's my favorite Green Lantern. And yeah, it's crazy to see how you're introduced, right? Kick Peter out for that. Can I please? Did someone say Jiminy Chillikers? He's got the Fallout Boy avatar. That's brilliant.
Perfect.
What's the panel reading at the moment? I've got Gail Simone's Wonder Woman DC. Oh, what a great question, Richard. I'm going to let my guests answer first. What are you all reading at the moment?
Excuse me. I just read a really good book that I kickstarted. I made a video. I haven't read anything since I did this. It's called Hard Bargain. And it was actually, I guess, Curtis, you must have had something to do with it because it's a humanoids book, but it came from Clover Press. I made a video on it.
Kickstarter too.
Okay. It's a beautiful book. It's about a private investigator of the paranormal back in 1940 Los Angeles. He's fighting demons. He meets death. He's got a Girl Friday type that has some kind of supernatural thing going on, but we don't know quite what it is. And I thought it was breathtakingly good. I really enjoyed Hard Bargain, and that's a humanoids book.
Yeah, the retail version of that I think is a soft cover that they sent me a copy along with Arcady. What about you, Dom? What are you reading, buddy?
For stuff unrelated to the channel, I'm rereading Jerry Duggan's Nova right now. Visually on Marvel Unlimited. It's part of a series that I'm working on. I'm also rereading Multiversity and Final Crisis for another project.
Okay. And what about you, Peter? What are you reading? You're reading everything.
Well, I mean, I'm reading 60 plus comics every week, so I can do my poll show and talk about every comic that came out. I will say that someday I only have the dust cover here because downstairs, Kid Crisis has got it. But Kid Crisis asked if she could read my Golden Age Wonder Woman, and she's read a little bit of Golden Age Wonder Woman before. But I said, you know what, we can, but every few issues you need to check in with me and talk about what stereotypes you've encountered and what things kind of seem a little strange to you, which the bondage might, and so we can talk about it. But it's actually been really interesting to see original Wonder Woman through her eyes and see a Golden Age comic through her eyes. She's studying about the Holocaust for the first time in school right now, and so she's starting to have more of a sense of World War II and what was happening in the world in World War II. So I think it's really appealing to her to hear like Wonder Woman talk about, and she goes, what are all these ads in every comic about war bonds? What's a war bond? So it's been a really fun experience, and she loves it. Like, she cackles out loud. She loves Etta Candy. She did say it does seem like these all have the same plot. And I said, yes, that's a Golden Age comic book. So it's been a lot of fun to see it through her eyes. And of course, I love Golden Age Wonder Woman. I just got Golden Age Wonder Woman number 6, which means we only have one more volume of Golden Age Wonder Woman omnibuses left to come, and then it will be complete through the Silver Age. And they just announced Silver Age 3 in the DC catalog, which means now we will have complete all the way to Diana Prince if we just get Golden Age 7.
Oh, Jess's favorite era of Wonder Woman.
It does gripe my cookies a little bit that Wonder Woman is already up to volume 3, Silver Age Wonder Woman, and Superman and Batman are stuck at just number one for each of them. I mean, let's get going here, DC.
Curtis, what about you, buddy? What are you reading?
Just before I say that, I will say, Peter, I'm glad to hear that you are following up with your kids' reading, like making sure that you are that they are aware of those stereotypes and stuff. Like, I think that's fantastic. A lot of people,
and something we've talked about is the
that.
stereotypes of how different people of different races are depicted in the comics at that time. And she likes to talk about the difference between if they're drawn in a way that might be a racist caricature versus is the coloring just too limited to really make them look right in the way they do in a modern comic. And I did not prompt her for that. She brought it up. I was like, wow, I have created a very savvy little comic reader.
That's great. Yeah,
nice.
No, and
I think we don't, Peter is actually hitting on something. Like, we don't give kids enough credit, or maybe it was just me, like how smart they really are and how they are able to figure things out. If you just, give them these books, because my daughters were the same way with, I'll never forget this. It was a proud father moment when we were doing the Mighty Marvel Masterworks of Spider-Man Volume 1. And my oldest daughter, who at that time I think was only 12, or maybe even 12 years old, and she was looking at the camera. And she's like, "Now you're not going to see any kids here, that are not white, because this was in 1962, and it's the city of New York." And she went on this whole thing about integration, and I'm like, right, yeah, that's right, people, that's true. Like, I was kind of feeding off of her and what she was saying.
But because you've probably told her that before, right?
Yeah,
you've taught her about that history.
It was just really cool.
Yeah. No, that's great, and that's good on you for making sure that you are educating your children like that. That's fantastic.
I think it's I think most people probably do, right?
I don't know. I think a lot of people will be like, you can just read or watch whatever you want, doesn't matter to me. And then it's up to the kid, who may not have the same worldview or upbringing or knowledge, to then they view these stuffs and maybe internalize it in a much different way, because they haven't been taught all of that stuff first.
That is a really good point. Like, I know that in the past, like, she's asked, like, my oldest and my youngest now ask me if it's okay to read something in my library, because they know that I have some books that they probably shouldn't be reading. And that's, I think I learned my lesson a long time ago with manga. Like, instead of just giving them a random manga, and I didn't realize, just because it had cute little pictures, that there was decapitation going on in the manga. And I'm like, oh man, I made that mistake. So from now on, like, now I look at the things that they have to. Has anyone asked the publishers if these crazy tariffs will affect prices in the near future? I'm gonna go ahead and say everyone will probably.
Oh yeah, they're all talking about
every it. Every publisher has talked about it.
In my call, in my meeting with Clover Press, we were talking about what we're going to do as well, because we get our books printed from a printer in China, and Clover Press is US based, which means that all of the books that we get are going to be coming into the United States and being affected by tariffs in some way. And the stuff that Trump announced yesterday, it's like 30%. So from stuff coming from China. So like that's a huge deal, and either they have to really skimp on the quality, like get cheaper material and like whatever, or we have to raise the prices. There's a no-win situation for trying to recoup that cost. Companies can't afford it.
We were just talking a little bit earlier about the, how excited I was about the Switch 2. And my brother and some friends and I were talking about the prices, right? Jumping up to $80 for a physical card. And I thought, that's going to set the precedence for all the other video game companies to follow. Like, well, I mean, and they're, because they're thinking ahead, right? Like, this is now the new cost. And
well, they're not just thinking ahead, but they're actually playing catch up. It's interesting because my wife is a COO for a video game company, or she was up until recently. And she's saying that the video game industry hasn't raised the prices really significantly in video games for so long, but the cost of making them has all dramatically increased since COVID. And so this $80 price tag is not actually a result of tariffs, but the video game industry playing catch up, which they should have done 10 years ago.
I think one of the ways that they played catch up was to I know some people would see it as skimming, but they would just like get rid of instruction booklets. They would get rid of posters. It was just a game card or a CD in the case.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one way to save the consumer. That's if the cost of making the game is going up, then you get rid of the peripherals, or you cut down on the number of staff that are making it, and it just becomes a cheaper product, or you get all the bells and whistles, but then it has to be more expensive.
Yeah, so there's a console. We were just talking about that too. The console itself is $450, and then the one downloadable Mario Kart, which everybody will want, is going to be $499. Yeah, I paid $85 in 1992 for Street Fighter 2 on the SNES. I paid $149 for Phantasy Star 4.
Omar, I paid $225 for NBA 2K18 in 2017.
You were a baby. How did you afford that?
I worked at a Target for like 2 months.
I spent money on a PlayStation 5. I can't. That's
almost there. Yes.
I haven't paid anything for the physical copies other than standard retail. That's a lot of Dodge to pay for, but I mean, it gives you pleasure, obviously. So you really wanted it. And who am I to talk? I have a delusional pile of games that date back to 2018 that I still haven't played.
I have a delusional pile of games that go back to PS2, so I completely understand. One day I'll be able to play these things. I remember the Super Nintendo games back in the day were like $45.70, depending on the cartridge. I remember Phantasy Star 4 was...
Yeah, RPGs were pricey. They knew they had
so
you.
That goes to show you that tells you that video game prices haven't changed in a long time.
No.
A long time. They haven't risen with the cost of inflation.
And Amanda wants you all to know that you were summoning her because she is in the chat right now. So thank you for that.
Love you, Amanda.
Thank you for that, Peter. I hate you so much. I traded shells and animal skins for a game on Atari as a kid. What's terrible is that you think you are buying a physical game, but often it's just an empty box. There are 2 games on the Switch 2 that I noticed they're doing that with, Bravely Default and Street Fighter 6. You're just getting a case with a downloadable code.
So, and that's again, either if you need to keep the price point and not raise it, then we have to cut the cost somewhere, and the physical actual game is probably the place to do it.
I actually wrote out my game backlog once, and it's 100 plus going back to PS2, Xbox, GameCube. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm there with you, man. Like, it's just ridiculous. And I'm like, why am I getting this again? Game keys. Yes. Hey, Amanda's Billy Ray Cyrus. It's Tim McGraw. She thought it was Tim McGraw. What's the best Mario, and why is it Mario World? Oh, what an awesome! Oh man, what a great question. Mario 3.
What was the first one where they could get put in the bubbles and you could team play to follow along? That's my favorite one.
Super Mario.
I think it was Wii.
World 2.
Yeah, no, that's New Super Mario Brothers. I think.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Wow. I thought you would go old school. Super Mario Brothers 3. Man, you turn into a Tanuki. Just like, what is even a Tanuki? That's awesome. A Hammer Brother suit. Oh yeah, dude. Well, Jess, what about you? I'm sure you played a lot of Super Mario with Kelly.
Yeah. What was the one where he could put on the coonskin cap and he got raccoon powers and could jump and stuff?
Super Mario 3.
Super Mario 3.
Okay. And is that the one also where he could ride in the clouds?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one. We loved the heck out of that one.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good one. Dom, what about you? You come from a different generation.
I do. It's a tie for me between Mario Galaxy on the Wii and Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story on the DS. Bowser's Story speaks to me directly because as a fan, I never thought like I would be able to play as Bowser, just like in an RPG.
You can play as Bowser?
Yeah, in an open world, you get to go to whatever part of the Mushroom Kingdom you wanted, and it's his own story. Like, Mario and Luigi are there, but it's directly, it is a Bowser story. It's about him trying to get his kingdom back after some people, I'll just say, decide to take it from him. And it's a very, very, very fun video game experience. And yeah, Galaxy is just, man, if I was 7 again, just to play that on the Wii, so those 2 games.
Curtis, what about you, buddy?
Well, I think Mario World was the first game that I think I fully completed, like to the very, very end. So that was special. And I love it. I love the graphics. I love the characters. Love the gameplay. I do also really like Mario Sunshine, and that's
Oh, that's a
Mm.
that's
it's an
yeah.
unusual one because that one was another one that I worked really hard to actually finish and collect and like 100% collect everything. So I really enjoy that one. I like that one. You get to ride on with a jetpack of water.
I love sharing this story. How different it was to play video games back in the day, where most of the kids in the neighborhood all had a Nintendo, right? And I remember Super Mario Brothers. There was no internet, there were no forums or anything like that, but we would just hear rumors from the kids in the neighborhood about the negative zone in Super Mario Brothers 1. And I was like, that's not real. And then I went over to a buddy's house, like that lived down the street. And he was like, yeah, we'll come and show you, man. And the first time he did that World 1-2, like all of us freaked out. Like we saw the negative zone, and it was just amazing. We were like, what is, like, it was a weird glitch, right? That I'm sure would be discovered within like the first day that the game is out these days, and have a YouTube video and analysis on it these days. But back in the day, it was so cool to, like, we were all playing the same games and one guy would discover something. And yeah, it was a different time, that's for sure. And I kind of miss those days. Nowadays, everything is just on the internet right away. You can just look it up. So, and on that note, I just want to thank everybody for watching. Smash that like button on the way out. This was a lot of fun to go through with my friends and talk about the solicitations. And then Mario fight a nihilist. Spoilers. Oh, the 101 up, dude. I remember doing that one. That was a classic.
I remember that too.
Yeah. But I, trying to find these glitches and things like that were on these cartridges was a lot of fun back in the day. Smash that like button on the way out. Check out waltzcomicshop.com, based out of the EU, Berlin, Germany, and also cheapgraphicnovels.com here in America. So thank you for watching. I'm going to let my wonderful panelists exit themselves out and tell you a little bit about where that you can find them and follow them. Jess, start it off.
Thank you for inviting me today, Omar. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault, and you can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, and I have a Discord. Thank you, James. Thank you. So, yeah, and I will be getting much better at reading and putting out videos. It's been way too long. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here, buddy. And Dom, what about you, my friend? Where can people find you?
You can find me on this channel at Near Mint Condition. You can also find me on my own YouTube channel at Dom of X, where I think I'm going to be doing some more different videos. I got a video in the works that's coming out on Monday. You can also find all of the collected editions that we talked about on comicreleases.com. So you can find me on those 3 spots.
Awesome. And Peter, Crisis.
Known throughout the internet as Crisis with a K. You can find me on crushingcrisis.com, where I write about every Marvel, DC, and Image new release, collected edition, and single issue. In support of my 200+ comic book guides, I just launched guides to Deken, to Rick Remender's Giant Generator, and some other thing I don't even remember. I've been so busy. Oh, Energon Universe. And then on Sunday afternoon for you in the US, I will be on my own channel screaming about all the new comics that came out this week. And then on Tuesday evening, I will be joining the adorable Omnidog and the irascible Freddy for our monthly Jammin' on Comics.
Nice. Good plug. Thank you.
And last but not least, Curtis.
I am known throughout the internet as Curtis with a K. I ignore my own YouTube channel and just appear on everybody else's.
No, you got those stealth lives all the time. Sometimes I'm just eating dinner and it's like, Curtis has gone live.
That's true. Yes, I pop up from time to time whenever I have a package to open. I don't schedule it in advance. I just kind of do it and see who's available. And that's you just search for Epic Marvel Podcast on YouTube or on Facebook, on Instagram, all those places. And I have a Facebook group and a DC Finest group on Facebook where we just talk about those books all day long, and it's great.
Awesome. And I am the Uncanny Omar. This is Near Mint Condition, and we are out of here. Everyone, stay healthy and safe. Much love.
Peace and love.